Welcome to Midwest Paranormal Presents Paranormal Soup. I'm your host, Jason Bland, and tonight, for the first time ever, we're having on the show L.A. Marzulli. I've been really looking forward to this show. I also know he can only do an hour tonight. That's the catch 52 on that. We only have an hour tonight with L.A. Marzulli, which will commence after our news segment, The World Wide Web of Weird. But then, and you know that hour is going to go by fast. I have a lot I want to talk about. I remember the first time I ever heard him in an interview talking about the Kandahar giant in Afghanistan, and I've been listening to interviews and watched his American Stonehenge documentary, I think a year or so ago. I've always wanted to talk to L.A. Marzulli. His research is so fascinating to me. When you talk about giants, the Paracas skulls, the mound builders, I mean, so much to talk about. We only got an hour to do it, and because we're only doing an hour interview with L.A., we'll do, after he gets off, we'll do about a half an hour of open lines, and then I'm going to cut it early tonight, because, every Monday I have to get up and take my son to school, which I'm almost through it. It's almost summer break. I get to sleep in on Mondays. So I'm going to cut it 2 hours. Next Sunday, I get to sleep in after the show. So that'll be great. So we will let you guys call in, not for LA. Won't be taking questions tonight. We're going to get his interview in, and then we'll take about a half an hour of open lines. Maybe I'll go longer. Who knows? We'll see what happens, how we feel tonight. But we got a lot to get to. There's a lot to get to in the World Wide Web of Weird, and a couple things I'll bring up after LA's interview. Extra World Wide Web of Weird after that. So we got a lot to get to. So let's go ahead and get rolling into the show. Welcome to another night of Paranormal Soup. As I said before, I'm your host, Jason Bland. Our guest tonight, L.A. Marzulli, author of the Nephilim Trilogy, and also directed films such as the American Stonehenge, which I highly recommend, which I found fascinating. We'll be on after the World Wide Web Weird for an hour, and then, like I said, we'll probably do about open lines for a half an hour. And joining me every Sunday night is my beautiful co-host, Jamie D. How you doing tonight, Jamie?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Love to have you on. And of course, from St. Augustine, Florida, we have running the World Wide Web of Weird himself, Rob Autry. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Glad to be here.
You guys didn't have a you didn't have a Weird Wednesday this Wednesday, but you guys are gonna be back coming this next Wednesday, right?
Yep.
Awesome. And some nights I get to stay up and watch it, and some nights a lot of nights I have to open on Thursday, so I miss it and have to watch it the next day. So I saw you guys didn't have it, and I could have stayed up that night and watched it. That's how it always goes. It's how it always goes when you guys have it. But yeah, we got a lot to get to tonight. Like I said, probably only going to be a 2-hour show. I know, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to catch up on some sleep, maybe, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes after LA's interview. Maybe LA want to stay on longer than an hour. Who knows? It's Paranormal Soup. Anything can happen. The paranormal happens live here. But we got a lot of weird to get to, so let's go ahead and roll into the World Wide Web of Weird. Tonight on the World Wide Web of Weird, I figured I'd start off with this that's been making the rounds is Obama on UFOs. We don't know what they are. Oh, he shows interest now?
Yeah.
you know I got some things to say. For those listening on the Paranormal Soup Radio Network, we are a webcast. We stream live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch now, where you can watch. We have videos. We have no videos tonight, though. Just some pictures and really the articles tonight. And this first one really kind of ticked me off. Because if I don't know if you guys remember, back during the Obama administration, well, let me just get to the article and I'll make my comment. Sorry. Speaking during an appearance of the Late Show with James Gordon, Obama responded to a question from Reggie Watts on the topic of UFOs and extraterrestrial visitors, initially implying that he wasn't able to disclose everything he knows, as well as offering a tongue-in-cheek comment about aliens being kept in a secret labs. He went on to talk about the various U.S. Navy videos which show unidentified flying objects maneuvering in the U.S. airspace. What is true, I'm actually being serious here, is that there is footage and records of objects in the skies that we don't know exactly what they are, he said. We can't explain how they move, their trajectory. They do not have an easily explainable pattern, and so I think that people still take seriously trying to investigate and figure out what that is. While it's difficult to know exactly how much Obama does know about the topic, it is very likely that he was exposed to the subject at some point during the 8 years he spent in the office. Also, while his comments might not be able to disclose what he knows live on air, was presented in a somewhat tongue-in-cheek manner. That's like always, like how these politicians deal with it, is tongue-in-cheek. Yeah. Nobody gets like really serious. I'm not a fan of him, not at all, but I will give Mark Rubio some kudos because he does take it seriously. I will give him kudos. I don't like him, but I will give him kudos because he at least takes it seriously. Yeah. And that's my problem. The Obama administration, they put out a statement when he was in office that basically said there's nothing to see here.
Yeah.
We have no interest in investigating as administration. He made it was some snarky kind of comment. I was trying to find it, but I remember the post. Like they basically, everybody had these high hopes, the hope that he would be the more open president about it, and his administration totally failed on that. And we'll talk later. I have a little extra for the World Wide Web maybe about how Biden's recent comments on it too. Trust me, if you're thinking, oh, he's some Republican, I hate them too. Just so you know. They all suck, especially when it comes to UFOs. And why I'm not a big fan of the big disclosure movement, because I have no trust in it. Sorry. Not when politicians are involved.
Worse than others.
Yeah. So when I saw that Obama's like making comments, I was like, screw you. You had your chance when you were in office to have done something. made a comment, taken it seriously, and you like snubbed the UFO community. So screw you. Now there's people in his administration that did help out. Tony Podesta. I know some people think he's a child pedophile. I don't know that, but he had an interest in UFOs. I don't know. All right, moving on.
He's like, I'm thinking of a way to get out of here.
All right, next up, I thought this was interesting. Liquid water discovered inside meteorites. For the first time, scientists have found liquid water inside a meteorite from the earliest days of the solar system. Well, long been suspected that water could be preserved within meteorites known as carbonaceous chronodites. I totally butchered that. This is the first time that actual liquid has been found inside one. This discovery is made in fragments of a Sutter's Mill meteorite, 4.6 billion year old chunk of space rock that fell to Earth and landed in the United States in 2012. Senior study author Akira, I'm not going to try to say Akira is her first name, from the Rasmussen University, I totally butchered that, in Japan, and colleagues used microbiology techniques to identify the liquid rich in the carbon dioxide inside calcite crystals. Wow, I just butchered everything left and right there. This achievement shows that our team could detect a tiny fluid trapped in a mineral 4.6 billion years ago. So it's been in there for who wants to drink that? Get your mineral water.
Fresh.
4.6 billion years old, not fresh. But, it explains, how like planets like ours got water maybe. Hit with a big meteorite that had water inside of it. I don't know.
Like my weird brain, when I look at those pictures from Mars, and I see all those rocks and stuff, I'm wearing a piece of techite, it's Saharan glass. It's 26 million years old. And I just look at those rocks on Mars and go, yeah, I wish I had like a few of those because it'd be like a lot of money.
Well, yeah. All right. This next story I found really interesting because you guys heard me talk about stochastic resonance on the show when we talk about EVPs, electronic voice phenomenon. I'm a big cider, not that I know for sure or anything, but I have a big feeling that stochastic resonance has a lot to do with how EVPs are recorded. Well, it's a scientific principle, making a weak signal stronger with a bigger field, like a static field. And this happened in China, and they think that's what caused it. Panic in China as a 980-foot skyscraper mysteriously begins to shake despite no earthquake in the area, sending pedestrians fleeing. Engineers are continuing to investigate the cause of the SEG Plaza movements today, but one expert believes it could be due to an accidental frequency coincidence. Vibrations inside the building could have coincided with the structure's internal movement, amplifying the effect known as resonance. Or it'd be stochastic resonance, but structures in buildings have natural vibrations depending on the size and shape, which are not normally felt by passersby, known as their natural resonant frequency. When these structures are subjected to external vibrations or force at a frequency equal or closer to their natural frequency, these objects often vibrate very strongly. Like I said, this has always been I think, some of the mechanics behind electronic voice phenomenon. The example on a small scale would be someone breaking a wine glass by singing on exactly the right note in its resonant frequency. You've all seen that. The opera singer is like, that's, but it can happen to a building. Just something just miraculously was at the right frequency at the right time to shake that whole building, and only that building, because there was no seismic activity. There was no earthquake. This has previously caused the collapse of a bridge, such as the Burringtown Bridge across the River Irwell and Angers Bridge disaster in France, and the swaying of the Millennium Bridge. In 2011, a skyscraper in South Korea started to rock, and later study by professors and building engineers found that a Tabo exercise class on one floor with 17 people caused the motion. They were getting down. Some exercise in there. But it was really the sound. It was the sound. It was the right frequency. Their synchronized movements matched the building's natural frequency, causing it to shake for 10 minutes before it settled. Isn't that crazy? You could take down a building with sound.
Giant singing bowl, once it gets going.
Well,
they talked about fires with sound. They have the fire machines they were testing.
Yeah, and the military's tested sound weapons and all that, and this is exactly it. They could match the right frequency to a building or structure. They could topple it.
Yeah.
And Rob, you were talking before the show about something happening to you when you were a kid.
Yeah, being in the house I grew up in, my mom explained it as an earthquake. Living here in Florida, my neighbors didn't experience an earthquake, but we were standing in the middle of the living room, and the entire house was shaking and booming. It was insanity.
Wow.
And Yeah, I mean, it was weird.
You said you and your mom were just standing there holding each other.
Yeah,
and
we
no
were
other no other house shook. It was just your house.
Yep. My best friend lived across the street, you know, and the next morning I was like, dude, did you, you know, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, what are you talking about?
Could have been ghosts. Could have been stochastic resonance. Just somebody hitting the right frequency on their jazzercise or something next door. I don't.
Yep. My neighbor's over there getting down in Funky Town, you know.
All right, let's move on before we run out of time of this next post. I don't have the video footage of that. I have the stills because there's no videos tonight. All the ones I wanted to cover are all pretty much going to be copyrighted protected, so I didn't want to try to fight the fair use thing. Man claims he has proof there's an UFO flying around on the Gold Coast after a mysterious car-sized object hit his drone. And we have the still pictures he pulled from it. George Searcy, was flying his drone next to a bushland in Nerang on the Gold Coast in January last year when he claims it was struck by an unknown large object. After comprehensively reviewing his footage of the incident, Searcy concluded that his drone, a DJI Mavic Pro, had a close encounter with what he believes was a UFO. The drone was just above my head, and I heard this big bang as though it had hit a wall, he told news.com.au. I checked the video and found the round object flying away. You can watch, go to dailymail.co.uk. You'll find this article there. And they have a link to his video. Like I said, I didn't want to post it. It's a long video, too. Searcy posted a video on YouTube in August 2020 following his find, which was met with plenty of skepticism online. He explained in the video, which had over 5,000 views, something strange happened when he was flying his drone at 94 meters. Going back through the video, a car-sized object can be seen, he said. Under the spot where this object was spotted is a perfectly round water hole with no algae, indicating it gets disturbed by something. 20 seconds after the object was seen, an impact occurs with the drone. This was incredibly loud. Like I said, you got to watch the video. It's weird. And I thought it was more important to get the still clips of what this object looked like because you can't hardly see it in the video. It's very quick. That's why it's so blurry, maybe. Yeah. There's one picture of the drone broke. I don't know if you showed that one yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a DJI Mavic Pro, and I don't know. I've never gotten a blurry picture out of it.
Yeah, well, you didn't get a picture of a UFO. They're always blurry.
That's true. Not
All
yet.
Right. But it's interesting, I've been saying, how long now that with everybody, with more video cameras, and now with drones, and of course people are mistaking drones for UFOs, but with drones, how many more we're going to get spottings of UFOs with drones and Bigfoot, cryptid stuff too. It's going to be harder and harder for Bigfoot and UFOs to hide, and our constant surveillance we do of ourselves. There's cameras everywhere on everything. Now we got flying cameras, drones. It is weird though. I mean, I don't know what that is. Maybe he hit another drone, but he said it was car sized. I don't know. I think it was car sized. That drone would be obliterated, but
yeah, that doesn't look like a drone.
I don't know if you can tell how big it is from that picture. It does look kind of like big where it is, like over the house, but you can't really make out what it is. Just a big black spot in the sky. All right, we can move on. Since we're going to be talking with L.A.
Like
Marzulli about a shadow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. When you zoom in, it gets kind of shadowy, but from distance, it looks like a black object out there. But it's blurry. All right. So we're going to talk about giants tonight. And both of these are videos that you should go check out. I'm not going to play them because these are owned by like actual TV network stations, whatever, that are owning this. This first one, and you got to see it because you think, well, that's giant. Boy, it moves really fast. When you see this thing, it's like something out of, there's no way this thing could be 80 feet long, how quick it moves. But man, it moves quick. So you can find this at unexplainedmysteries.com. Giant squid filmed hunting in very rare video. One of the largest and most elusive denizens of the deep, and I got the picture of it up here. One of the largest and most elusive denizens of the deep, this giant squid, which can grow up to 43 feet long, is usually only seen when the dead specimens wash up on the beaches. So it's 40 feet, that's all right, doubled the size. It's still big. Capturing the footage of a live one, therefore, has long posed something of a challenge. Now, though, a research team headed up by Nathan Robinson of the Oceanographic Foundation in Spain has succeeded in capturing the first ever footage of a giant squid on the hunt. To achieve this, they set up a special deep-sea platform with a camera and a fake jellyfish, which itself was equipped with lights to mimic the natural bioluminescence bioluminescence, sorry, emitted by the resident species. Over time, the camera picked up a number of smaller squid species, but then one day, an actual giant squid with a mantle length of 1.7 meters, excluding its tentacles, showed up. The huge creature spent several minutes swimming around, surveying the platform before it decided to come in for the kill. This suggests that the giant squid may stalk their prey before attacking it. Previously, they were believed to ambush their predators. We recommend that future studies assess the value of using low-light systems or optical lures in a more scientifically robust manner. You know, there's so many things in the sea we don't even know are there. And this scene, imagine running across this on the water. Of course, there's that horrible second book the guy who wrote Jaws wrote with The Beast. It was about a big giant squid. It wasn't as good as Jaws.
Yep.
But that would scare me. All right, this next one, again, I don't have the video, but you really, really should go check out this video. Again, Unexplained Mysteries has this, and I've seen it all over. If you haven't seen this video, you really should. Gigantic skeleton. We got a picture of it here, and it doesn't do it justice. You got you got to see the video. Gigantic skeleton filmed on ocean floor. Intriguing video, which was posted online by Deborah Haswell of the BBR investigation, was allegedly provided by a man who works with a remote-operated vehicle on the ocean floor. Captured in the Mediterranean back in 2017, it shows something very unusual. Now, I must stress this video was taken by professionals who work underwater in the oceans all across the globe, Haswell wrote. They know whale bones and come across them from time to time. The dimensions of the skeleton on the video does not fit with the usual size of any sea life in the area. A whale has 3 blades on its spinal bones, each spaced 120 degrees apart, and this creature seems to have only 2. The bones could be very ancient because I have seen many clay amorpha sticking out of the mud, and they have been there for potentially thousands of years. The bones were about 30 meters long and very large and look more like they belong to a serpent of some kind. Yeah, because like you see the spine there? That goes on like forever. Wow. Like when you watch the video of it, it goes on forever. It reminds me of like the giant skeleton in Star Wars and Tatooine, the way it is on the ocean floor. This thing's huge. You know, I mean, yeah, it could be thousands of years old. There's no more of these floating around, or maybe there are.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
Yeah, have you seen the video of this?
I haven't seen it yet. Nope.
It's incredible. I don't know. I mean, I'm not an ocean person. I have no idea. Maybe that is a whale. I don't know, but it looked like it was huge. They say 30 meters. That's pretty big.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to this last one.
I just watched the video. That is crazy.
Isn't it? Isn't it? Like when it rolls along, you see how long that spine is? It's huge. And lastly, Russia. It's either Russia, or China with up to shenanigans here. And, of course, a lot of these articles are scare articles. It's some general talking out of his butt. Who knows? And this comes from Popular Mechanics. Russia is going to try and clone an army of 3,000-year Scythian, was that right? Warriors? Scythian warriors. I love the article. Good luck with that. No, good luck for us. We need the luck. If they start cloning, these ancient, warriors, they're probably going to put some super soldier stuff in them. I don't know.
It's like
when you hold it,
dead.
Yeah. I just saw the movie on Netflix with what's his name, Dave Bautista, or whatever his name.
Yeah.
It was good. When you hold a job like defense minister of Russia, you presumably have to be bold and think outside the box to protect your country from enemy advances. And with his latest strategic idea, cloning an entire army of ancient warriors, Sergei Shoigu, I don't know his name, is certainly taking a big swing. In an online session of the Russian Geographical Society last month, Shoigu, how do you say his last name? A close ally of Russian President Vladimir Putin suggested using DNA of 3,000-year-old Scythian warriors to potentially bring them back to life. Yes, really. For some background, the Scythian people who originally came from modern-day Iran were nomads who traveled from Eurasia between the 9th and 2nd century BC, building a powerful empire that endured for several centuries before finally being phased out by competitors. Two decades ago, archaeologists uncovered the well-preserved remains of the soldiers in a kurgan or burial mound in the Tuva region of Siberia. Because Tuva's position in southern Siberia, much of its permafrost, meaning a form of soil or turf, always remains frozen. It's here where the Scythian warriors saga grows complex because the frozen soil preserved the biological matter better than any other kind of ground. Russian Defense Minister Sergei here, I'm not going to say his last name, knows this better than anyone because he was from Tuva. Of course, we would like very much to find the organic matter, and I believe you understand what would follow that. It would be possibly to make something of it. If not, Dolly the sheep in general would be very interesting. Sergey went on. Stability suggested going through some kind of human cloning process, but is it even possible? To date, no one has cloned a human that we know of.
Yeah,
That's my part. But scientists have successfully executed therapeutic cloning of individual kinds of cells and other specific gene editing works. And of course, there are high-profile examples of cloning pretty much complex animals. And we've talked about China. They've already said they want to make super soldiers. They're like working hard on DNA to make super soldiers. Earlier this year, for example, scientists cloned an endangered U.S. species for the first time, a black-footed ferret whose donor had been dead for almost 30 years. So why are humans still off the menu? Blame a technical problem with the most common form of cloning, which is called nuclear transfer. In this process, a somatic cell, like a skin or organ cell, with a specific established purpose in the body, has its nucleus carefully lifted out, and then the nucleus is deposited in the oocyte or egg cell, which the nucleus carefully removed. It's like a blank template waiting to have a new nucleus swapped in. From a technical perspective, cloning humans and other primates is more difficult than any other mammal, but that doesn't mean they can't do it. I'm just saying, I think they can do it. I think they have done it. I think it's being done. Yeah, popular mechanics, I think you're behind on it, but that's all right because it's all deeply classified, I'm sure. But you heard China. I've talked about it on the show repeatedly. They want to make super soldiers. And we're going to talk tonight with L.A. Marzulli about Nephilim and giants, like the giant of, was it Kandahar in Afghanistan? Supposedly that story still intrigues the heck out of me.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever heard it. Remember the soldiers run across like a 12-foot red-haired loincloth giant with a spear, stabs one of them, and they're like, shoot it in the head, and they kill it. And it's like people have been talking now for years that, it happened. There's been other silent witnesses coming out. If they're giants still in caves somewhere, and to feel them, imagine if Russia or China got their hands on that DNA.
Yeah.
And try to clone that. I mean, they can clone a ferret, then they have DNA that's 30 years old. What are they working towards? Well, guess what?
Yeah.
Imagine 12-foot tall soldiers,
Weren't they working with DNA of a woolly mammoth to like reproduce?
Oh yeah, they've been. Yeah, that's still, I think, on the table.
Yeah.
So this is what we're facing: robots, either armies of robots, Terminators, or it's gonna be armies of clone soldiers like Clone Wars, but like even worse. Yeah. I mean, because the Kandahar giant, like they're talking like it had like double rows of teeth and like nice. I mean, very scary. A bunch of Goliaths or giants and Nephilim. Imagine cloning that, making an army out of that.
With exploding helmets.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I forgot about the exploding helmets. That's for the non-clone. See, clone you can probably program to do what you want. The exploding helmets is for the unwilling.
Yeah.
That's for the humans. But hey, that's it for the World Wide Web of Weird. Our guest tonight, L.A. Marzulli, will be joining us after this commercial break. I think on Skype. I'm not sure. There was a little confusion if he was going to join us on Skype or on the StreamYard. I'm not. If I don't see him on StreamYard by the time we come back from the commercial break, I'll call him on Skype. Either way, we should be able to get him on the show. I had a message from him today, so he should be here. Only going to have him on for an hour. Then we'll go to our last commercial break. Do about a half-hour open lines, I think. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe we'll do longer. I don't know. We'll see how it goes tonight. But L.A. Marzulli, author of the Nephilim Trilogy and films such as American Stonehenge, which I highly recommend. We will be right back.
us every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time for Weird Wednesday, the live stream, with your hosts Jamie, the Living Dead Girl, and Rob, the Phantom, where we'll talk about all things paranormal, including zodiac, astrology, tarot card and oracle card readings, live ghost boxing and spirit communication, where we'll do Voices from Beyond, the Cold Case Files. So we hope you join us live on Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time. We hope to see you there. Bye-bye.
Since 1948, Fate magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition, bringing you the unusual, macabre, strange, and bizarre. Join host Kat Hobson Sunday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
Of the second kind, physical evidence of a UFO. Close encounters of the third kind, contact. From Steven Spielberg, the director of Jaws, comes one of the most ambitious and unusual films ever made. And what you will see has never been seen before. It's a cosmic mystery crossing what many scientists believe will be the next threshold of human experience. It is called Close Encounters of the Third Kind. It begins in an Indiana town and leads to one inescapable conclusion. We are not alone. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Certificate A. Now showing at the Odeon, Leicester Square.
The international chart-topping, Haunted Horror of Haverfordwest has been described as terrifyingly real, a must-read, shocking and chilling brilliance, genuinely worrying, utterly frightening. Don't read before bed. Described as one of the spookiest writers out there, best-selling author G.L. Davies presents Haunted Horror of Haverfordwest. The true paranormal account that is shocking the world. Dare you enter? Dare you read? Haunted Horror of Haverfordwest is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, and wherever books are sold. Pray you never have to live there.
This is the sound of a space clock aboard a U.S. satellite 180 miles above the Earth. No one winds up this timepiece. It's powered by a tiny battery, a battery that delivers power for years without replacement. Now the same type of battery, the Duracell battery, can bring new reliability and long life to your battery-operated equipment. Radios, cameras, toys, all run far longer. Duracell batteries, the long-distance power cells, outlast any ordinary battery. The same type of battery that keeps space clocks running for years can bring long life to anything powered by batteries. Dura, as in durable. Cell, as in power cell. The Duracell battery, made by Mallory.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from Talkstream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Switch to DCS ranging.
240, nominal to profile.
We're in the pipe, 5 by 5.
Tonight on Paranormal Soup, our guest is L.A. Marzulli. L.A. Marzulli is an author, lecturer, filmmaker. He's penned 8 books, including the Nephilim Trilogy, which made the CBA bestsellers list. He received an honorary doctorate for the series from his mentor, Dr. I.D.E.E. Thomas, who is a provost at Pacific International University. His book, On the Trail of Nephilim, Definitive Proof of Biblical Giants, is a full-color, oversized book which uncovers startling evidence that there has been a massive cover-up of what he believes are the remains of Nephilim, the giants mentioned in the Bible. He has taken on the Trail of Nephilim and created a film series that continues his research with interviews from people in their specific field of knowledge. Where the book left off, L.A. continues his research and is on the trail. And I've been a big fan of L.A. Marzulli. He's going to be joining us here in just a second. I've listened to a number of interviews. I watched American Stonehenge. I've always wanted to have him on the show. We only have an hour tonight. We're not going to take calls with L.A. because I want to get as much as I can out of them information-wise. We're going to talk a lot about the mound builders, the Baraka skulls, so much to get to, so let's go ahead and get rolling into the show. All right, I believe we have L.A. here. How you doing tonight, L.A.?
I'm good, Jason. How you guys doing?
Doing really good. It's a true honor to have you on the show, finally.
Yeah, it'd be good. Good to be here, guys. And lady.
Now, yeah, you got Jamie and Rob here. They monitor our chat room, and you guys are welcome to join in tonight with questions. So I've been a big fan of LA. Every time you'd be on any of the Coast to Coast or Heather Wade, I definitely tuned in. I wanted to be an archaeologist when I was a kid. And then I grew up and I found out how bad, like all the stuff I was interested in. Like I read Chariots of God by Eric von Daniken. I was always interested in ancient cultures and why was things the way they are? Who built the pyramids? And just to find universities, academia are like, oh, it's the people made it, and there's nothing strange to see here. Nothing to see. People move on.
Keep moving.
Yep, keep on moving. And that's why I love your research. You get down to the nit and gritty. You go to these places, and you really learn the stories of it. And you're a Christian supernaturalist. You know, you have your faith. How did this happen for you? Because I also know, I'm sorry, I've listened to interviews. I know you were also, like, before you were a Christian, you were into a cult. You know, I mean, how did this all start?
I mean, I've been on both sides of the aisle, guys.
Right.
So I bring a very unique perspective. I mean, I was all things Carlos Castaneda, Vision Quest.
I read Don Juan when I was a teenager.
There you go. Right. I lived in an ashram for 3 years. My third eye was open. I had spirit guides. I mean, I've been on both sides of the aisle. So, I mean, I know what the difference is when you actually encounter the living Christ. And I'm not talking some new age Christ. I mean, what happened 2,000 years ago, and I don't want to start off the show by, getting into this whole thing, but I like to earn that before I get into it. But you asked it, so I feel obligated to talk about it a little bit.
That's
fine. I'll be very brief. The bottom line is, when a man or woman encounters him, it's not what you think it is. It's not. And it happened to me 41 years ago. It happened to people 2,000 years ago, which changed the Western world, changed the world as we know it, completely stood everything on its head. Since then, it's been obfuscated. It's turned into this form of religion without really a relationship. And what happened to me 41 years ago was a relationship. And I am a frank supernaturalist, as you know.
Yeah.
All sorts of stuff happens all the time. That's how we're supposed to be living.
See, I'm one of those people. I always find like I'm in the middle of the debate, kind of.
Okay.
Because you have like your neo-Darwinist and ancient alien theorist, and then you have people like you who are supernaturalists. I kind of like go back and I'm like, oh, I can see your point, and I can see your point, But I think the biggest thing these people miss on the other side of the aisle, I guess you could say, when you get to ancient aliens and all that, is that there has to be some supernatural force behind what people were witnessing 2,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, when you get into the Bible. I mean, I do believe there are alien things. Maybe we'll differ on that in there, but I do also think there was major supernatural things that couldn't even been alien.
Well, it's interesting when people talk about alien. Why don't we define that word for starters? So an alien is anything that originates off-world, off this world, off planet Earth. So that's a very large window. That's a very large amphitheater. So in some respects, when you talk about angelic entities, they are alien because they don't originate here. So if we agree on that, then all
Semantics.
we have, I mean, that's really all it is. We're not that far apart. We're actually very close together.
That's how I've always felt about it, is that we're all talking about the same thing, but we have different words and understandings of it, but it really is pretty much the same thing we're talking about. Now, what I think one of the first times I ever heard you is about giants. I don't remember what radio interview it was. It was about the Kandahar giant. I was like, yeah. That was like, what is this? What happened with these soldiers, Afghanistan? So I became, as first time I heard your name, I heard you in an interview talking about it. It was the first time I ever heard about that story, and I became super interested in your work after that. What led you down this path when you became a Christian to question, like the mainstream? I mean, mainstream academia, universities, and archaeology and Christianity, and all this when it comes to the existence of giants.
Well, I'll tell you a story, and I've been actually repeating the story quite often, almost every interview, because it's really a cool story. And basically, I had written the Nephilim Trilogy, and I was, kind of thinking about another book to write, and I wrote Politics, Prophecy, and the Supernatural right after that. And now we're up around 2006, 2007. So anyway, I got invited to this conference out in Ohio. And I mean, I really figured I was done all the Nephilim stuff and wouldn't be going back and, blah, 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 right? So I get this phone call from my battle buddy, Russ Dizdar. And he goes, "Hey, LA, do you know where you're going?" I go, "Yeah, Russ, I'm going to Newark, Ohio." And he starts laughing and he goes, No. Do you know where you're going? I go, "Russ, I'm going to Newark. I mean, what?" He goes, "Do you buy a computer?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Google Fritz Zimmerman, okay, Fallen Angels in the Ohio Valley, the Nephilim Chronicles." And I go, "What?" I mean, I can't even believe this. He goes, "Yeah, Google it. There's the book, Fritz Zimmerman's book, life-changing book. Fallen Angels, the Nephilim Chronicles, Fallen Angels in the Ohio Valley." I immediately order a copy on Amazon, a hard copy, but I'm also ordering the PDF so I can begin to read it. Because the next day I'm on a plane to Newark, Ohio. And I fly out to Newark, I do the conference, and I'm with my driver on Saturday, because I got there like on Friday morning, Friday night we did the conference. So Saturday he's schlepping me out to the conference, and I go, "Hey, where's this Newark, Earth Mound, or this circle thing that everybody's talking about?" And he goes, "Oh, we're about to pass it right up here on the right." I go, "No way." And he goes, "Yeah, we've been going by it every day since yesterday, Friday, and today's Saturday." Okay, far out. So we go by it, and there's just a very nondescript sign that says, Earthworks, Newark Earthworks. And so I go, "Look, I got free time tomorrow, Sunday. The conference will end, and why don't you drop me off in the parking lot? I'll spend a couple hours, and pick me up around 2 or 3 hours." Like, okay, great. So it's Sunday. He brings me back. We pull into the parking lot. There's no cars there. Nobody's at the site at all. And I kind of knew a little bit about it from reading Fritz's book, but not, because this was happening on Thursday. I got the book, the PDF, the plane, the conference, having a lot of time.
Was this your first experience with Native American mounds?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And water is good. So I walk up this asphalt path, about 4 feet wide, and it's a fall day. There's like nobody there. The place is empty. I mean, it's like it was almost like it was arranged that way. But it was. On my left, I look at this huge earthen wall. I'm thinking to myself, what am I looking at here? I get up to the top, and to the right of me is the museum. So I turn to the left, and I probably walk a few steps, and I just freeze. I'm now at the entrance that leads you into the Great Circle Mound. I don't really know what I'm looking at. Yeah. I freeze. I start to hyperventilate. The hair on the back of my neck goes up. I'm afraid to move. I'm hyperventilating. It's like one of those moments in time that maybe a man or a woman gets, if they get it at all, once or twice in their entire lifespan, if that. And I'm sitting there looking at this thing, again, my breath is like
Yeah.
that. I mean, I'm just like all senses on. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on here, but all I know is I am looking at the rest of my life. Literally, I am looking at the rest of my life, and it was absolutely mind blowing. And since that day, which is years ago, we went to Peru. I wrote 2 books there, On the Trail of the Nephilim, Volume 1, Volume 2. I've created the On the Trail of the Nephilim series. There are now 7 films in that series, and it just goes on and on and on. We've traveled all over the world. We've got tons of footage which we haven't even used yet. I kind of took the last film that we did, which was Lost Civilizations, which was just released, and we're about to release another one on UFOs called Disclosure: The Coming Great Deception of the Luciferian Endgame, and that's for free. That film is totally for free, and it'll be released tomorrow.
Really? Where can we find that?
On YouTube, BitChute,
okay,
everywhere. And
I will be watching that tomorrow, for
we're
sure.
looking for people to pass it forward because they're rolling it out. They're rolling Disclosure out, and so I've taken a step back from On the Trail.
Gotcha.
But that cover, you're looking at the megalithic walls at Sacsayhuaman in Peru.
Yeah.
And when I was there the first time, it was the same feeling like the Newark Circle Mount. I just sat there with my jaw on the ground in utter. When I've been there like 3 different times, 2 times with a tour, and when I go there, I tell people, touch the stone, because you are touching the supernatural. You are touching the fingerprints of the supernatural. Men did not build this. Okay,
right.
Mankind did not. What you're looking at is something that's off the chart. So we're either into, alien technology. I call it fallen angel technology, Nephilim architecture, because in my paradigm, that's what I think it is, and it's global. Right. It's absolutely everywhere.
Oh yeah,
it's all over the planet, and that was Peru, and there are some things with the mounds in there in On the Trail. But really, the film series started, and I mean, the stuff that we show in the film is just unbelievable. I mean, film is the media that books are one thing, and they're great. And when you look at a picture, it's great. But when you create a film, and I'm in Sacsayhuaman, it's living, it's breathing. The wind is there. There's background music. I'm yakking in front of the camera. Everything just comes alive, and the viewer interacts with that. So that's why I've switched over to film, and I never wanted to be a filmmaker, had no aspirations. Frankly, I never really wanted to be an author. So here I am, right? So, and I go, anything I know about filming is from Richard Shaw. Richard, who passed away 2 years ago, this coming August, very unexpectedly. Mm. And Rick taught me everything I know about filmmaking, and I would like to think that we're making him proud. But I do a daily show every day, Politics, Prophecy, and the Supernatural Report. Right now, we're really banging really hard on the whole UFO thing because it's in everybody's face. So what are we looking at here? What's really going on? So, Newark, Ohio, that was the nexus. That's where everything started, was there. And then from there was Peru and Bolivia and Teotihuacan and all these other places. And, I got to tell you guys, every time I go, and we were all over Europe, actually 2019, 2020 shut down.
Yeah.
But 19, we were all over Europe, and we haven't done anything with the film. A little bit, but not much. There are sites that we've been to. Well, I mean, in Lost Civilizations, when we take you to Sardinia, we ping back and forth between Gilgal Raphaim in Israel, which is on the Golan Heights, and Sardinia, which is on the island of Sardinia, the Tomb of the Giants, and the similarities are breathtaking, and it just shows us, in Sardinia they're called the Naraji, okay?
Yeah.
In Israel, Gilgal Raphaim, the Tomb of the Giants. Raphaim is the Nephilim tribe.
Right.
So our whole hypothesis has been that these giants roamed the earth, and they left vestiges of it everywhere. And lo and behold, that's what we see wherever we go. What's hysterical is the archaeology and,
Oh, yeah.
the way they just. You want to talk about fake news? When you go down
Right.
yeah. When you let's go back to Sacsayhuaman. When you go to Sacsayhuaman and you hear the docents who are trained by the Peruvian government, so they're just mimicking
Talking
what
heads.
they're told to say. Yeah, the Inca were master stone builders.
Mm-hmm.
So my L.A. Marzulli, if I was a millionaire and I'm not, I would create the L.A. Marzulli $1 million challenge.
Right.
Sacsayhuaman. You give me the best Inca stonemasons you got, your copper chisels, and you know what? We won't even. Don't worry, guys. We'll haul the stones up from the quarry, but you'll have to place them. Okay, so you won't even have to quarry them. We'll do that for you. So here's your goofy copper chisel. Just make 20 feet of wall. That's all.
It's got to be perfect alignment.
Exactly. Just make 20 feet of wall, and show us how it's done.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can do that with the copper chisels, I'll shave my head and become a Buddhist. But you can't. You can't, because one hit, 2 hits with a copper chisel on andesite, the copper chisel gets dull.
Right. It's like it was melted or
It
molded.
doesn't work. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
the technology, whoever did it, the technology that they used is no longer here.
Right.
They with them when they left.
But not human. I don't think.
No,
I
no,
don't
they're
see
not.
how.
No, I don't think they are either.
Well, when it comes to like, in America, like in Ohio, I mean, who built the mounds? Who are the mound builders? I mean, we have academia's version, but who really built the mounds?
When I lecture on this, and it's funny, the audience will just howl with laughter. So there was all this information being circulated in the 19th century, all these different theories about lost tribe, people came over from Europe. I mean, everybody's trying to figure out what are we looking at here, So this guy by the name of Cyrus Thomas, who ran roughshod, intellectual roughshod over anyone. All right, this guy was like unbelievable, like a real J. Edgar Hoover type guy, except in archaeology. So anybody who didn't toe the party line, see ya. That's because he had the power to do it. So what he said was this. Well, this is what we're going to say. This is what happened. This is who built the mounds. Indigenous people, Native Americans built the mounds, but they just forgot that they had done so.
Yeah, because if you ask the Native Americans, what do they say?
So what happens is when the first white settlers pushed into Ohio and they came to the Great Circle Mound and they asked the indigenous people, who built this? Native Americans said, we don't know. It was here when we got here. But it gets better. It gets better. And I'm gonna walk through you guys through some of this stuff pretty quickly. So we've got a whole bunch of films on the mound builders. Mysterious Mound Builders, that's Amateur of Nephilim 1. Number 2 is Mathematical Mysteries of the Mound Builders. 3 is Secrets of the Supernatural Voices from the Upper Side. Then we go to America Stonehenge, that's 4 and 5. DNA with the Paraka Skulls, that's 6. Lost Civilization is 7. And 1 and 2 and 3, let's start with 1, Mysterious Mound Builders. There is a site that good old Fritz Zimmerman took us to. It's called Fort Ancient. And they got this guy by the name of Docent Jack. He works there. He's a docent. He volunteers. And of course, he just parrots that party line. He believes in hook, line, and sinker, man. This guy's a true believer. So in the film, we show a clip that I lifted off of YouTube because it had 32 hits on it. I actually wrote the guy, never wrote me back. So I just fair use, and we used about a minute, maybe 2 minutes of it. So Docent Jack goes, okay, 3.5 miles of continuous earthen walls. Fort Ancient is 3.5 miles of continuous earthen walls. Wow. 3.5 miles. And he goes, okay, so if we were to deconstruct all 3.5 miles of earthen walls, what does that look like? What does that look like to you? That's I know exactly where that is. I've been there. I know exactly where that is. Yeah. So you deconstruct all 3.5 miles of earthen walls. And if you took dump trucks and line them up end to end, right? Bumper to bumper.
Yeah.
So how many miles of dump trucks do you think you'd have?
I don't know. It would be a lot.
Take a guess.
How many miles of dump trucks? Or how many dump trucks?
No, just how many miles of dump trucks?
Couple?
2 miles?
2 miles? 10?
I'll say 10.
10? Yeah. It's a lot of dirt.
100?
Try 200 miles.
Wow.
Oh my God.
200 miles of dump trucks end to end to cart the dirt. And we're supposed to believe, this gets me so irate. We're supposed to believe that these people did it with these goofy shoulder blades of deer, digging sticks, clamshell hoes, which break. You can't possibly do anything with a clamshell hoe, and then stone tools. Really? And then they move the dirt with deer hide. Seriously? Let me get it straight. Ohio freezes for about 8 months out of the year. Okay?
They had to focus on survival.
Hello, hunter-gatherers. Who's got the time to build this thing?
Right.
Nobody. When we were there on the vernal equinox, the spring equinox, all right? There were 2 mounds, which was gateway. There were also 66 gates, but the archaeologist says, oh, there's 67, because 66 is a huge occult number. They don't want to go there. So they say it's 67. It's 66. There's 2 mounds, the gateway to the whole complex. My wife's sitting there with her iPhone, which has a celestial map on it, over on the spring equinox, right? Directly over the gate is the serpent hydra.
Well, for Native American?
What do you think?
Right. Well, that's what I remember. American Stonehenge. I remember you had evidence of Canaanites.
We can go there, but let me before I go there, before I go to American Stonehenge, let me finish up with 2 and 3 because we have the time to do this. So you've got 200 miles of dump trucks end to end. You've got constellations, knowledge of the constellations, and building these gateways to know that on the vernal equinox, we'll have the serpent hydra come up over that. So who's got the time to figure that out?
Right.
And who knows, right? So in the second film, and what we do is this is really interesting. We deconstruct it even further. We made a replica of a Stone Age hoe. It's a hoe that's made of stone.
Right.
We took it to a flint knapper. It's a piece of flint. It's wrapped in deer hide. The whole deal. It's a replica. And we hired this guy. He goes out to the field and he begins to labor with the hoe. And you can see people start laughing. And he gathers up the dirt, puts it in a bucket, and then walks the bucket a couple hundred yards to where the site would be. Dumps the bucket. And at this point, he's like tamping down the dirt with his boot. And it's just laughable. The whole place just starts cracking up. So to build a mound, like let's say Fort, not even Fort Ancient, that's too crazy. Let's go to Poverty Point, Louisiana.
Okay.
About 390,000 tons of earth, okay? 390,000 tons of earth. So that's about 28 million single buckets. 28 million single buckets of dirt. I mean, the whole thing just collapses of its own weight. Okay, I mean, and people see this because no one's ever done this. To the best of my ability, they just Native Americans. Oh, there's the Serpent Mound. That place is highly charged. You can only see it from the top. I wrote a new paper, a new paradigm on the Serpent Mound that nobody else had ever written. And I owe it to Gary Stearman for his lecture on It's All About the Seed. And then, of course, Mark Hirschman, who was a amateur archaeologist who happened to be out at the site and then came in to listen to Gary Stearman's interview. And from that, he came up to me and he goes, L.A., this is what I think the Serpent Mound was. And I'll get to that. And I wrote a paper on it. But we feature the Serpent Mound a lot. And we can leave that up for a second.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. Mathematical mysteries of the mound builders. So let's look at the Great Circle Mound. There's a moat inside that Great Circle. It's a moat. It's very deep. It's very deep. In fact, we show it. We show Todd Willis standing in the bottom of the moat. Todd's a surveyor and an engineer. So he's out there surveying the moat and going, Basically, it's level. It's between 6 inches and a foot of dead level. So for all practical purposes, it's level.
It's level.
That begs the question, because it's 4,000 years old. So sills and everything else, the thing was dead level. How did they do that in the ancient world? He doesn't know. They brought water in. So let me get this straight. How did they bring the water in? There are no pipes. What are they doing? Growing bamboo in Ohio? I don't think so. So there's no bamboo pipeline, yet there's bringing the water in. How are they doing this thing? How do they know it's level? It's dead level. Okay? So there's mysteries within the dirt. Like, look at the Serpent Mound, which is up. The undulations are there for a reason. They point to the equinoxes and the solstices. The mouth of the serpent is wide open.
This is the
and in the mouth was at one time a pillar. We believe human sacrifice was practiced there.
Right.
It's the largest earthen serpent on the planet. The serpent is in the act of swallowing an egg. And no one has ever said this before. I wrote the paper on it. Genesis 3:15, going back to the guidebook of the supernatural, states that the seed of the serpent will be at war and enmity with the seed of the woman. The one that's coming from the seed of the woman will crush the serpent's head. The serpent, will bruise his heel. What this iconography is, it shows the serpent in the act of swallowing the egg, destroying the egg. That's what the seed. The seed, exactly. The seed. That's what we're looking at. No one's ever looked at that, because no one's ever looked at Genesis 3:15 and went, bingo, and put the two together. No one's ever done that. This place is highly charged in Secrets of the Supernatural Voices from the Other Side. Henry Gruver was walking this mound and prayer walking it and basically shutting the gateway, shutting the portals, but he wasn't told to do that. Mistake number one. And he's there in the wintertime. It's actually Thanksgiving, and it's beginning to snow. He pulls into the parking lot, thinks he'll take care of this mound pretty quickly. He goes out, he prays over the mound by the head, prays over this thing, and as he's walking back, he gets kicked in the solar plexus, but there's nobody there. Yeah. There's nobody there. He falls to the ground. He falls to the ground. His knees go up, and he's writhing on the ground in agony. And he can't straighten his legs out. And it's snowing. And he realizes they're going to find him frozen to death in the morning.
Yeah.
So he begins to pray, and the Spirit of a living God goes, Henry, I'm going to release you, but you came here and I didn't tell you to come here. You're weak. You're not charged up. You're not prayed up. You've been out on the road for 6 weeks doing what I asked you to do, but I didn't tell you to come here. The sin of presumption. In other words, we don't make a move. When you're in this type of warfare, because it's warfare, it's spiritual warfare. When you're in this type of warfare, you don't engage, we don't engage unless we have marching orders. You just don't do it. Because there's a principality that's over this site. This is why Hunbat's men and the 13 Mayan crystal skulls and the Mayan elders, we show it in the film, went there and performed the ritual to open up the gateway. That gate has been opened and closed by different sides for the last 20 years. I believe now it's open again because of Hunbat's men in 2012. No one's closed it since then. Mm-hmm. So it's open.
And it's basically like a portal letting something evil in?
Well, I mean, that's a 3-hour discussion. When we talk about letting evil in, look at Skinwalker Ranch. Skinwalker Ranch and what's going on over there. So, we need to define what evil is. If I abduct a 5-year-old boy without his parents' consent and I implant him, is that evil?
Yes.
Okay. If I abduct a man or a woman and abuse them sexually, take sperm from the man and ovum from the woman, is that evil?
Yes.
Okay. If I ritually sacrifice a human being on a table without their consent, is that evil?
I would hope so.
Okay, so we're pretty much all on the same page.
Yeah, we're on the same page on that.
Okay, so, because some people aren't.
I know.
Some people aren't. So, moving on to America Stonehenge, There is a sacrificial altar there.
Yeah.
There was a sacrificial altar at the Serpent Mound here. You mentioned the Canaanite connection.
Yeah.
That's what chapter 4 is called. America Stonehenge, the Canaanite connection. And what we show is the bow stone. So when Robert Stone bought this thing decades ago in the 60s,
Yeah.
much of what you see had not been excavated. For instance, the sacrificial table had not been excavated. So we know that it was like a table. They knew what it was.
Mhm.
There was a big stone there. Well, they didn't know it was a table. There was a stone that was at ground level. So people began to excavate, and they went down and they found out that the stone was held up by stacks of stone, creating 4 pillars. Behind it was a secret oracle chamber with a conical shaped stone oracle sound magnifying device. So if you were in the oracle chamber, which was hidden, and you groaned or said something through, it would amplify your voice and make it very, very spooky. Very
Like
ritualistic.
a resonance. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It would amplify it and give it a certain resonance to it, as you pointed out. So we believe that that's a sacrificial table that was used thousands of years ago. So when Robert Stone buys it, they know about this stuff and they begin to clear the site. As they're excavating in one of the chambers, somebody, what's his name? Whitall, Robert Whitall. I think his first name is Robert, but I could be wrong on that. He finds this stone, and it's heavy. It's about 30 pounds, 28, 30 pounds. It's pretty good size. And it obviously has some kind of writing on it, but no one knows what it is.
Yeah.
So it lays in the museum for 11 long years. So Professor Dr. Barry Fell gets wind of this thing and comes out and looks at it and goes, that looks like Iberian Punic. Yeah, there's the table. That looks like Iberian Punic, and I think I can translate it. So he makes a rubbing of it or a picture, whatever, and he goes back and he translates it. And it says, to Baal of the Canaanites in dedication. So when I'm with Kelsey Stone, we're walking in the museum where this stone is kept. And Kelsey knows nothing of my work on the Trail of the Nephilim. Doesn't know it. In fact, the entire Stone family at that point didn't know anything about the Nephilim. Didn't know anything about it. It was completely it was completely outside their paradigm. So we're walking around. I've got this little Osmo camera. So I'm behind the camera. He's explaining the arrowheads and the 28-day stone that they found. And, well, what's this, Kelsey? Well, this is the display case, LA, where we've got stones with a lot of writing on them. Many of these stones have inscriptions or writing. Oh, really? Wow, that's pretty cool. Well, what do they say, Kelsey? Well, this one is written in Iberian Punic, and it says, to Baal of the Canaanites in dedication. And you hear this long pause. I left it in the film.
Yeah.
This long pause, and I go, what did you say? What did you just say? And he goes, and he kind of laughs nervously, and he goes, yeah, to Baal of the Canaanites in dedication. And I'm like, my head's spinning at this point.
Yeah.
I can't believe what I'm hearing. They didn't know what they had. They didn't know because they didn't.
It's like the Holy Grail, the connection to all this.
It's unbelievable. It's totally unbelievable. Because Baal is the god of the Canaanites, and the Canaanites are a Nephilim tribe. Hello. And so, I'm looking at this thing, and that's why we call it, the Baal connection. What is that stone? And it's also, I recapitulate it wow, where is that?
I don't know. Rob pulled that up. He does internet searches as we talk.
It looks modern, Rob. It looks modern.
It looks modern. I was like, I don't know that one.
It doesn't look ancient. It looks modern.
No, that looks like modern. But sorry, go ahead.
So in Lost Civilizations, I recapitulate that. I go back and I show that clip because it's, my gosh, people need to see it over and over and over again. And I basically say, what is this doing in America? What is a stone with Iberian Punic dedicating the entire site to Baal of the Canaanites, doing in the Americas. It has no place here at all.
Right.
It's one of the greatest discoveries of, the 20th century. It is, because it proves that, there's a hidden history that's been deliberately obfuscated from the peoples of the world. They don't want it out. And this is why academia and the modern day archaeologists, they dumb it down. Well, it's a coincidence. Oh, it must be a forgery. Blah, 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 blah. Let me get this straight. So I'm a clever forger.
Right.
Go out there. Tink, 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 tink. It's Iberian Punic. I can't read Iberian Punic, but doggone it, that's what it is. The battle of the Canaanites. Tink, 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 tink. And it lays on and I hide it under the chamber. And it lays there for God knows how long. So somebody finds it, and then it sits another 11 years in the museum because no one can translate it. Wow, I'm really pulling a fast one here, aren't I? I've made millions. It's just ridiculous. I mean, it's just unbelievable. It's like, but it must be a forgery. Anything that doesn't fit their goofy paradigm is a forgery.
Yeah.
And people like me, I'm a pseudo-archaeologist. No matter what I find, it'll never be good enough because I'm not part of the club. So let me get this straight. The greatest find, the greatest archaeological discovery of the 21st century is getting zero attention because they don't, Kelsey Stone's not part of the club. Not the 20. This is another one. Not the Bow Stone. The Bow Stone, I could be forged, LA, but this can't be. All right? So when you go to America Stonehenge, gotta have some props. Here's the center of the henge, right here. Right? So here, standing in front of it, is the summer solstice standing stone, right here.
Right.
Ding. So when you stand here in back of a stone, every summer, the longest day of the year, the summer solstice, the sun comes directly over behind this stone and illuminates it. Now, the Stone family knew about this for decades. When Robert Stone got there, they discovered these standing stones that weigh 3 to 5 tons. And they were going, I wonder what these stones are for. And then they got to realize that, well, wow, the summer solstice sunrises come over this stone. I wonder if there's any other alignments. There are other alignments. We show all this in the Axis Mundi, the center of the world. So, Kelsey Stone is a 23-year-old college student. He's looking at America Stonehenge. He's grown up there. He used to sleep on the stone table. Something I don't think he would do, Kelsey.
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
No, not a good idea. So Kelsey's on Google Earth, and you remember you couldn't do this 30, 40 years ago. It'd be impossible to do it, right? And so Kelsey goes on Google Earth and he draws a line from the center of his henge out to the summer solstice standing stone. And he continues the line to see where it would go. He's goofing around. Got no axe to grind. Doesn't even know what he's going to find, right? He's just playing. He goes, I wonder where the line goes. So he draws the line out, and it goes pretty close to over his house. He goes, wow, that's pretty cool. So he extends it further, and it goes out over the Atlantic Ocean, past Nova Scotia. Further out over the Atlantic, he's just scrolling on Google Earth. It goes through Ireland, and he finds himself in southern England. And he thinks, wow, I wonder how close the line is to Stonehenge. And so he starts to zone in, take Google Earth like you could do and push the line in further and further and further. And to his absolute astonishment, the line intersects the center trilithon, dead center.
Wow.
But the center trilithon, there's one, they're at angles. I have to show, they're at angles. So it intersects not one, but two. Dead center on both of them. So you can't do this in antiquity. You can only do it by triangulation in the air. Who is the prince of the power of the air? And then what they did, and once they figured that out, they were off to the races. The standing stones match up to Chaco Canyon, the Pyramid of the Moon in Teotihuacan, Machu Picchu, the pyramids in the Canary Islands, the Pyramid at Giza, and of course Stonehenge, England.
And well, the Canaanites, like in American Stonehenge, they were. I mean, I'm not a biblical scholar or anything, but I mean, I remember Israel trying to just obliterate them off the earth by God's command. So obviously they ran for it and made their way over here.
Yeah, that's been our hypothesis. That about roughly 3,500 years ago, they basically pushed westward like crazy. Even before that, but they got out of there. They got out of there, and they spread their stuff. I mean, you can see the stone table in the picture. You can see the legs that are holding it up.
Yeah.
And I've been to American Stone. I spent quite a lot of time there. Like in all films, there's stuff that never make it, but I mean, look at the size of the granite stones, and how was that done?
Now, would they have been? I mean, since they're the Canaanites or Nephilim or a tribe of Nephilim, would they have been giants?
Well, that's the whole deal. The giants were over here. Native Americans talk about fingered, cannibalistic, red-haired, giants that were sexually deviant and that were cannibals. I'm not making this stuff up. That's why we have Chove Joseph Riverwind, Chief Joseph. It's getting late here. Chief Joseph Riverwind. He comes in on several of the films and talks about the giants and why they were real. And most Native American tribes have legends or stories about the giants.
And were all Nephilim giants?
No.
Were all the tribes? No, not all of them were,
No.
right?
And that's what my research is so interesting. The elongated skulls in Paracas.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're one of the tribes of the Nephilim called the Horites. The Horites were cave dwellers. Okay, so why do I think this? Well, it's conjecture on my part, admittedly. But, look, our team was Mondo Gonzalez, Chase Klotze, the late Richard Shaw, Rick Woodward. I mean, this was our team.
Yeah.
And we went down there. We extracted the DNA. We did 58 samples. Out of the 58, about 28 of them sequenced. Out of the 28 sequences, many of them showed haplogroups, the mitochondrial DNA haplogroups, showing that the origins of these entities came from Eastern Europe and the Middle East. Yeah. And that rewrites history. I mean, I get that that's a very bold claim, but nevertheless, truth is truth. It does
rewrite. What the DNA
history
says.
Yeah. But see, that's not good enough because I'm not part of the club. So yeah, I'm not part of the club. Never will be part of the club. We can't even. We have rubber samples now.
Yeah. That
we would like to get sampled. Labs won't touch us.
That's so stupid. It's so stupid.
This is science, my friend. This is the scientific community. It's just like the COVID deal. Are we looking at a real pandemic or a scamdemic? Is it real? I mean, what's in the inoculation? It's not a vaccine. Don't call it a vaccine. It's
gene therapy.
Yeah, it's gene therapy is what it is. So, and now Fauci's tap dancing as usual all around and saying like, well, we can't rule out the possibility that this virus was man-made. Something that
I bet you can't, buddy. I bet you can't.
The guys, anybody who would take the scalps of 5-month-old aborted fetuses and put them on the backs of rats, this guy has no place in anything. In my life, your life, or anybody's life in America. And story.
How about let's not give money to Chinese labs at all.
$3 million. The guy is a walking Dr. Mengele, a walking, breathing Dr. Mengele from Auschwitz. And this guy is telling us what we should do. Are you guys out of your flipping minds? I mean, what is more barbaric than taking the scalp of a 5-year-old aborted fetus? I mean, are you kidding me? When I read that, I almost lost my breakfast. I mean, that's one of the most disgusting things I've ever heard in my entire life. And I've read a lot of nonsense.
Well, what I think is, why are we ever giving funding labs in China? I mean, he says, "Oh, we didn't directly fund them," but if we did,
Yeah, he said we didn't directly fund them. He didn't say we didn't fund them.
Right. I mean, why are we giving them money, especially when they're trying to jump viruses from animals to humans, which goes against actual laws we've set in place not to do? I think he'll hang for it. I honestly do. I hope so, because
the guy, I mean,
he's right at the head of it.
Oh yeah, Dr. Fiasco. That's my nickname for him.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
No, I'm not
a
either.
fan at all.
The guy is. I honestly would call him out as evil.
Yeah, I want investigations. I want to see the trail, because it's there. I don't know if you read, was it Nicholas Wade's article, like basically running through, this guy's not a conspiracy theorist at all. He's been writing for New York Times, and and he points out all the things we need to investigate and connections to Fauci and how this virus started. We need to know. How are we going to stop it if it from happening again, right? Well, I feel it was planned. That's been my opinion for a long time.
Likewise, absolutely.
Well, this is the thing. Right now, you're putting out this video tomorrow about the disclosure.
Correct.
And I want to watch this because we talk about it on this show all the time. I always am like, the disclosure, if there's a disclosure, it's us. It's us coming out about our experiences. Screw the government, what they have to say about it. They had plenty of time to say what they wanted to about it, and they have said nothing. Obama gets on TV and acts like, oh yeah, that's very interesting. I remember when his administration totally fupa'd the whole subject. Okay, so don't come around now and try to talk to us about UFOs. And then you got Biden laughing it off.
And why do we care what Obama says about anything?
Exactly.
The guy had 8 years. And he, what did he do? Name one accomplishment. Name just one thing. Somebody just show me. Just tell me one thing that he did that was great for the country. Just like now, America's inherently evil. We're all a bunch of racists. So let me get
screw that.
We're racists, but we elected you for 2 terms instead of 1 because we're so deeply racist and don't like people of color. But that's why we elected you twice. Whoops, whatever. I mean, look, this thing is unraveling. And that's why, the Lord told me to go back and redo the film. So I did. It's a totally different film than the first time. It was my first film that I directed and edited. So since then I've done 10 films. And, my editing chops are, I think, up to snuff. It's a good film. It moves on very quickly. It's for free. The links will be up tomorrow. It is for free. All we're asking is pass it forward. I'm working on the second segment to it, which will be free again. But we're asking for contributions. I mean, if you want to contribute to it, great. If not, I don't care. I really don't. I'm putting the thing out for free. Some things you just can't charge for. And if people,
do you think? I want to ask you this though, before we lose time here. Do you think it's a fake disclosure to make a new religion?
No.
The worship of aliens.
No. What? Yes and no. What we have to understand is, when they show up, they will say this, because all the neo-Darwinists are just licking their chops. E.T., so-called E.T., the aliens, those originate, I believe that they're interdimensional beings, but whatever.
No, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, they created all life on this planet, that they genetically manipulated early man. That they started.
Who created early man, though?
Huh?
Who created early man?
Well, they did. They manipulated the DNA.
Yeah.
They took DNA from other species and created early man. They genetically manipulated it. That's what they'll say. And people will believe it because that's what the neo-Darwinists want to believe that. And I'll get into that in just a second. So they genetically manipulated early man, started the world's earliest civilizations, started the world's earliest religions, and now, at this critical juncture in human history, they, E.T., our overlords, our progenitors, our creators, are back to usher mankind into a golden age. Oh, and by the way, we have 2 gifts for you. The first gift is the free energy that makes the craft run. So you're off of oil. It's a Green New Deal. AOC will love that.
God. Right.
Oh, yeah. So,
no more carving cow farts.
Yeah, exactly. Greta Thunberg will go, how dare you? How dare you? Not what we do. Children should be seen and not heard. Thank you very much. But thank you, Greta. So they'll give us the free energy, and then they'll say, hey, we've got a DNA upgrade for you.
Yeah, there you go.
So, this whole COVID thing, we've got the cure. You take this little implant in the back of your hand or in your forehead, and it will extend your lifespan. It's a DNA upgrade. It'll extend your life about 300 to 500 years, disease-free. You won't have to worry about anything. That's the mark of the beast, I think. That's much conjecture, but
Yeah.
based on the implants that we took out, we're the only Christian team ever to do that on film. And the film was stolen. I won't mention the guy's name,
Yeah.
but his film was on Netflix because that's how things are done.
Uh-huh.
We pay for everything. We give you some of the film, and you steal it from us.
Oh, jeez.
And not even give us any credit. You hear me talking in the film, but you don't see my face.
Oh my God.
Unbelievable.
Well, you say though you guys took like alien implants out of people?
Yeah, we took out patient 17, Dr. Roger Lear.
Yeah.
It was the last implant removal he did. It had been in this guy for about 40 years. And he was 5 years old when they came and took him. And it was really starting to bother him. Excruciating pain. We did x-rays, CAT scans, Gauss meter, ultrasound. And when it came time to take the implant out, we couldn't find it. It was like it was cloaked. And my spirit guide tapped me on the shoulder and said, "You need to take authority over this right now. You need to pray." And my spirit guide is not who you think he is. So I went, okay. And I go, "Hey guys, it's going to sound really weird, but I'm going to pray and I'm going to do it now." And my prayer was simply this: Father, if there are forces which are cloaking this device, I pray that you would break their power and do it soon. Less than 2 minutes, the implant comes from the back of the monitor like this, way in the back.
Oh shit!
Just zooms up like that, and there it is. And everybody goes, "Oh my gosh, what's that?" And Dr. Matriciani goes, "That's the implant." And he's like tapping the end of his ultrasound wand, looking at it, putting it back down, looking at the monitor. There's the implant. And we took the implant out. And then 2 days later, Monday, we examined it at SEAL Lab. So our team, that's what our team did. That's why we're on the trail. It's science. That's why our team is the only team to date that went down and took samples from 2 different museums and then had them tested at 3 different labs and then published our results. But it's not good enough because they don't like our answers. That's the problem. They don't like the science. It's just amazing. It's just
it's amazing how they've locked this down for so long. I mean, 60, 70 years of modern archaeology has locked it down. 100 years. They've kept it just through academia and through grants and people's. Do you want to work at this university or not? You're going to toe the line, and that's how it's worked.
Exactly the way it works. Yeah, basically they strong arm you. If you want to work, you want to be whatever, you've got to toe the party line. And it's just like it is same thing down in Peru. All the docents are just parroting what they've learned, which is nothing. Same
in Egypt too, in Egyptology.
It's all the same thing.
Yeah, it's all over.
Zowie Hawass. Zowie, you have no flipping idea how they did anything.
I know.
Just get honest with me here, Zowie. I used to drive me nuts.
I know.
It's like, no. Go to the Hypogeum on the island of Malta. You tell me what we're looking at.
You're not even allowed to film there, I don't think.
No, you can't do anything.
Yeah.
Well, why is that?
Why? That's what I've always wanted to know.
What are they so afraid of? Unbelievable.
But there's people that don't want to know the truth or don't want the truth to get out. But then, you go back to the stories in the Bible of David and Goliath. What the hell was Goliath?
Nephilim.
Yeah.
All day long.
Oh, yeah. All day long. Yeah.
I mean, he's a giant, I mean, it's a story.
Probably 12 feet.
And we've heard the stories for countless years that, back in the early days of archaeology in America, they were finding giant skeletons and hiding it.
Yeah, well, I found a picture of a 9-footer out here that went viral. That's the Catalina giant.
Yeah,
and
that's amazing.
It's on the Trail of the Nephilim, Volume 2.
Well, we got to go to commercial break. I know you said you only give us an hour, unless you want to stay on.
That's it. Going to bed, folks.
Okay. Well, LA, it's been a true honor. I'd love to have you back on the show again.
Sure.
And I will look for that link for your video coming out tomorrow and share it on our Midwest Paranormal Soup page because I want to watch it.
Yeah, but just let's make it go viral. People need to see what's going on. They really do.
What's the name of that? People don't.
Yeah, say the name again.
It's called Disclosure: The Coming Great Deception and the Luciferian Endgame. Disclosure: The Coming Great Deception and the Luciferian Endgame, because that's what it is.
All right, coming out tomorrow, people. Got to check it out. I know I will be. All right, we're going to go to commercial break. And then I know I've heard some people say, don't go just 2 hours. I know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But we're going to go to our commercial break. When we come back, we'll open up the phone lines, at least for a half an hour, maybe longer. We'll see. It all depends on you. How many are going to call in? All right, guys, we'll be right back after this short commercial break.
Into the combined effects of sensory deprivation and hallucinatory drugs. The subject of the experiment is himself, and the experiment is out of control. Ken Russell's Altered States, a film that must not be missed, is in the West End now. Altered States, Certificate X.
Do you wish for more paranormal and spiritual content? The Paranormal Chronicles magazine is a free digital magazine crammed with the very best in paranormal and spiritual articles and features. No sign-up, no subscription, just free reading and knowledge for you. Read today at www.paranormalchronicles.com/magazine.
Oh, come on. I'm Southern, but... nope.
That'll do. Hello. I am Kat Hobson, host of Paranormal Experience here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. I enjoy having guests from all areas of the paranormal, from ghosts to ufology to cryptids and beyond. You'll find some of the best researchers in their fields bringing you some great information. Join me on Wednesday nights from 8 to 10 p. Eastern here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
Join us every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time for Weird Wednesday, the live stream, with your hosts Jamie, the Living Dead Girl, and Rob, the Phantom, where we'll talk about all things paranormal, including zodiac, astrology, tarot card and oracle card readings, live ghost boxing and spirit communication, where we'll do Voices from Beyond, the Cold Case Files. So we hope you join us live on Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time. We hope to see you there. Bye-bye.
Paranation Magazine is a new paranormal magazine based out of Denver, Colorado. Our goal isn't just to give you the best paranormal content out there, but to promote paranormal unity. We're doing this by giving everyone an opportunity to tell their stories and to share their experiences. For more information, follow us on Facebook at Paranation Magazine and soon, paranationmag.com.
I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like is the extraordinary travels of a young, alone, and broke psychic in the highly anticipated new book from internationally renowned psychic, medium, medical intuitive, and best-selling author Sherry Dillard. Critics have described I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like as an engrossing memoir, an empowering story of how a broken girl came to accept her psychic gift, a refreshing and fun read. I've Never Met a Dead Person I Didn't Like is available through Amazon, Kindle, Barnes & Noble, and wherever books are sold.
Edgar Allan Poe wrote Spirits of the Dead with a pen dipped in warm blood. You will see the ultimate in terror with this important all-star cast. Brigitte Bardot, Alain Delon, Jane Fonda, Terence Stamp, and Peter Fonda in Edgar Allan Poe's Spirits of the Dead. Only Poe's demented genius could bring to the screen such horror and evil. Spirits of the Dead stars Brigitte Bardot, Alain Delon, Jane Fonda, Terence Stamp, and Peter Fonda. Directed by three masters of the cinema, Federico Fellini, Louis Malle, and Roger Vadim. Spirits of the Dead is an adventure in terror beyond your wildest nightmares. Spirits of the Dead in color is rated R.
The city is headed for a disaster of biblical proportion.
What do you mean, biblical?
What he means is Old Testament, Mr. Mayor. Real wrath of God type stuff.
Exactly.
Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies. Rivers and seas boiling.
40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes.
The dead rising from the grave. Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria.
You're listening to Paranormal Soup, bringing you the weird every Sunday night. Call into the show and join the discussion. The call-in lines are 219-230-4444 or 260-225-9419 or by Skype caller ID OOJBland00 or JBland Paranormal Soup. And now to your host, Jason Bland.
Tonight's guest was L.A. Marzulli. He only had an hour with us. I know, I could have talked to him for hours, but a little late for him. Maybe next time. But we definitely got to try to get him back on the show. Thank you to Michelle out there, a publicist who got him on the show. I've been looking so forward to this show just to talk to him just for an hour. He's so fascinating, his research. Tonight now is open lines. We'll see how long we go. I know people are like, no, go 3 hours. I don't know. I mean, it all depends on you guys, how much you want to call in. Let me make sure I get the phone lines unblocked here. You can call in now. The phone lines are open. Let's talk. What's been going on in the world? Do you think it's raining cats and dogs? It's the end of the world? It sure feels like that every day, doesn't it? In 2021, that's like just the everyday occurrence, every new scary thing out there happening, and you know, everybody telling you to get the jab. And yeah, I'm not happy with the world right now. That's where I'm at. How are you feeling? Call in. Let's talk. Bring your coffee. Let's talk about what's going on in the world, because it's screwed up. I really am looking for LA's the deception, because I really don't buy the whole UFO disclosure thing. I don't trust it. I don't trust anything, do I? No, I don't. Do you? Let's talk. Call in. But let's get back to the show. I'll mute myself there. Jeez. All right. Well, it's also Q&A with the chat room here. We got the chat room. People, see here. We can look at your comments. There's Jamie saying hello to Bob. So this is why I'm like, yeah, we're not going 3 hours. I don't know what to talk about. I do want to mention, I don't have the video clip of it or anything, but let me see if I got the article still for this. Oh, I don't know if anybody saw, we're talking about Obama and his, oh, yeah, UFOs. That's so interesting. Yeah, they're real. Blah, blah, blah. Shut up.
Shut up.
I had the same feeling about when Trump opened his orange turd mouth about UFOs too. I'm like, just shut up. I don't like politicians when they talk about UFOs because they don't know crap. They really don't. And if they do, we'll screw them if they do for not talking about it, right?
They're on a need-to-know basis.
And Biden doesn't have a memory to remember if they told him. So they might have told him a lot. He just doesn't remember it. Biden tells reporter to ask Obama about UFOs. UFOs have been in the news a lot this last few days. This is from Unexplained Mysteries. And it's a topic that doesn't look as though it's going to likely to be going away anytime soon. A few days ago, former President Barack Obama was grilled. Really? Was he really grilled? Screw you. On U.S. Navy fighter pilots' reports of UAPs during episodes of Late Show of James Gordon. And now, current President Joe Biden has found himself fielding similar questions during a live news conference. The event, which was a joint conference for South Korean President Moon Jae-in, so one reporter asked Biden point blank about Obama's comments on the subject. President Obama says there's footage and records of objects in the sky, these unidentified aerial phenomena, and he says we don't know exactly what they are, he asked. What do you think? Whereas Obama had at least seemed reasonably willing to talk about the subject. However, Biden was less enthused, instead jokingly dismissing the question by saying, I would ask him again, before making a quick exit off the stage. It really is. He makes a beeline out of there. Oh, my God. Could this suggest Biden knows something he doesn't want to disclose? No, he doesn't remember. Or did he simply consider a question of his nature to be beneath him or unworthy of his time?
He had to run off stage for them to dope him up on whatever it is that keeps him going all day.
Give me some more of that unborn fetus juice. I don't know. YouTube's so unmonetizing this video.
Yeah. Give me some more of them embryo scalps.
Yeah. I wanted to buy and go, come on, man. Come on, man. Don't ask about UFOs.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. People, if you're pissed off at me, I'm not being political. I hate them all. I hate Trump. I hate Biden. I hate them all. I hate Kamala Harris. Sorry. I can't stand her. I can't stand Biden. I can't stand Mitch McConnell. I can't stand, Lindsey Graham. I can't stand Nancy Pelosi. Just, I equally opportunely hate all of them.
All
All
same,
of them.
equally.
If you put your faith in a politician, good luck. Good luck for you. I mean,
hey, the governor of Florida.
I'm not.
Political parties are now considered a personality trait, right?
Yeah, well, then what's my personality? Because I don't even consider myself. I mean, I have libertarian-esque philosophy, but I don't even like the Libertarian Party. I have big issues with them. So I'm like, where am I left? Just arguing with everybody. Usually.
Instead of people insulting each other like normal now, it's, oh, you must blah, blah, you must blah, blah. How do you like this? How do you like that? It's all.
And what drives me nuts about it is, it's, to me, the political landscape we're in now and all the vitriol and hatred and people hating each other and all that, while your government slowly discloses UFOs and nobody cares because we're all caught up in this stupid crap.
Because we're distracted by.
I don't give a crap about Meghan and Harry, the royals. Who gives a crap about that? Why do people give a crap about that or the Kardashians or any of this other stupid crap? They're literally UFOs flying every day that military officers are seeing. They're saying, they say this. You saw the 60 Minutes. Did you guys watch that?
No, but I saw.
Yeah, you have them saying, we watch UFOs almost every day when I was out there. So that should be big news, right? 60 minutes.
Yeah, but what are the Kardashians doing now?
Exactly.
I'm having to Google to try to find anything on what's going on, searching. But when you pull up the search pages, top of the thing was Kourtney Kardashian and whatever the hell I don't care, and then some recipes, some other stuff I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, we had so many guests on here who said, no judgment and let go, no hatred, and I hate the human race.
The worst thing on the planet.
I love people. It's just when they get together. People as a whole.
I self-identify as an alien, non-resident human, not a human. That's how I feel. Can I do that? Everybody can be a unicorn now. Can I self-identify as not part of the human race anymore because I'm just embarrassed? Anyways, we got somebody on the phone line. Who do we got calling in?
Hi, Jason. This is Ariana. How you doing tonight?
Hi, how you doing? What do you want to talk about tonight, Ariana?
Well, I wish your guest on was a lot longer.
Me too. Me too. I tried. You saw me try. He's like, nope. You got 1 hour. That's it.
Yeah. What my comment was, and he touched upon it, that a lot of scientists, archaeologists, whatever, museum people, they only go by their own ideas, mythos, maybe, and anything that comes up that isn't within their
Patagram.
spectrum or whatever, right? They either dismiss it or they'll say, "Oh yeah, okay, well, you know,
It's
they were,
pseudoscience.
they were savages or whatever the case was, you know." And you know, and they don't want to explore it at all, you know. And what I wonder about is if anyone actually, if it ever happened, if anyone actually went back in time and came back to the present and accurately said, no, this is the way Stonehenge was built, this was the way, let's say, the pyramids were built, or all the other mysterious things we can't figure out, you know, and if they had accurate proof of it, I think they would still be labeled as, you know, crazy, maybe.
I mean, the information's right there in front of you. I mean, it's right there in front of them. They're just blatantly ignoring it. We've had Dr. Heather Lynn on, who's an archaeologist, and I mean, she went through all the education universities and everything, and you know, and she's, you know, she doesn't get a lot of credit for her work because why? She's asking these questions. She's looking at it honestly, you know, and that's completely frowned upon. Not only frowned upon, you can lose your whole career. Because there's obviously an agenda. Now, some of this has to do, you know, with people who have written papers and theories, and they have tenure, and they work for these universities, and they get on the boards of universities, and they don't want their theories thrown out the window. So the young archaeologists are like, yeah, you're not going to talk about that because you're going to ruin my legacy. Some of it's that, but I also think there's a government agenda behind it.
I agree. Also, my thinking is, if we could live up to, say, 500 years from what he was speculating.
For the mark of the beast.
Yeah, that would we really want to live that long and with a lot of the way that humans are and humanity is, you know? I mean, it's kind of scary.
It would mean they'd definitely have to really work on that whole depopulation thing.
Yeah.
People are living 500 or 600 years long. You know, I'm going to retire at 65 and you're going to have to pay my pension out for 500 years. Thank you.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
Right. How's that work?
Yeah.
When he was talking about it, you ever seen the miniseries V? You know, where the reptilian aliens come down or eating gerbils and stuff like that. But that was creepy.
But
you remember that was like, you know, they came out to the public and we're going to give you all this stuff, and people were like worshiping these aliens in it. That's what I picture. And remember how quickly, like, they canceled the they had the miniseries and they had a TV show. How quickly they canceled that, and like even they did a revamp of V and they quickly canceled that too. It's like it almost hits too close to home.
Yeah. Yeah, or the movie, the silly movie called Them, with that wrestler Roddy Piper.
Oh, They Live. That's not a silly movie. Don't call that movie silly.
Okay.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
You're talking about one of my favorite John Carpenter movies. Not silly. One of my all-time favorite movies.
Put on the sunglasses, man. Just put on the sunglasses.
Put on the sunglasses, man.
Yeah,
we're trying to put the sunglasses on people, I think. Well, we're trying to get people to see that, you know, we're being manipulated.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'll let you guys go because I'm sure there's lots of other callers.
Nope, there's none.
Call.
It keeps like this. I haven't ended the show early.
Wow. I thought Zach was going to be calling in.
Where are you, Zach?
He usually does. Yeah, and
like,
I haven't heard Marcus in a while.
Yeah,
I hope he's okay.
Me too. I thought about that actually today. I was like looking at my Skype line that he usually calls in. I'm like, oh, Marcus, it's been a while. You out there, Marcus? Call him, man. Haven't heard from you in a while. Well, thank you, Azariana. I'll let you go. I won't keep you on.
Thank you. You have a great night, everybody.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye. I mean, he's talking about the mark of the beast and stuff like that. And like, you know, I don't know if aliens come down and try to give us the mark of the beast. I don't know, but I sure as heck seen a lot of, you know, basically, you ain't going to be able to do this and that if you don't get the vaccine. There goes my monetization. I don't care. Like I get a crap from it. Donate. Patreon, Paranormal Soup, $2 a month. That helps his bills. Sure as hell YouTube doesn't. Hopefully they don't take my channel down at all for that. But I'm just saying, a lot of that, I've seen a lot of that vitriol going around, basically. I'm like, screw you.
Yeah.
We're not going to do this. We're not going to do this.
If you want to hug your family again.
Yeah, go, yourself. Yeah.
Just get the shot. Just get the shot. No.
Yeah. I'm not telling people not to. I'm not.
Yeah,
That's on
exactly.
them,
It's I don't tell anybody.
Don't tell me to.
Yeah, exactly.
But just don't tell me what to do, or with my family or my children.
Yep.
It's just as simple as that.
You
You
do
do what you want to do.
I'll do me.
Yep. That's
and
libertarian
we'll
in
be
me, man.
respectful of each other, and we won't step on each other's toes.
I got
But
plenty
that's
of
not
friends.
2021 we're living in.
Yeah.
That is not the age we're living in, obviously. Everybody wants to tell everybody how to live, what to do, and put their damn 2 cents in. I'm
I don't
libertarian
care
at
how
heart, and I'm
people
like, stay out of my business.
As long as it's not affecting me, not hurting my family, not affecting income, do what the hell you want.
So I've always been for gay marriage. I have a lot of religious people who are like, no. I'm like, no, that's their business.
Yeah.
And plus, I have friends that are gay, and they have way better marriages than the heterosexual marriages I know of. Just saying, they do. They've been together a lot longer. They're good people. I'm just saying, like, I'm always, I'm like, I am libertarian at heart. I'm like, you do you, I'll do me. You stay the F out of my business, I'll stay the F out of yours. As long as you're not killing children or, sacrificing, adrenochrome or any of that stuff.
Doing
Otherwise, stay out of my life.
horrible things.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like we're talking about disclosure of UFOs and that. Like, man, there's so much more that needs to be disclosed that I think is going on behind the veil, behind the curtain.
Yeah, the aliens are just the
tip of the iceberg.
The tip, exactly. Just the tip.
Lines are open, people. Of course, I can put up the thing here. See, this is why I said I'm gonna end early.
Like Heather says in the chat room. Okay, so if aliens create a man, what about Jesus or God? And see, that's a whole nother can of worms,
Well, see, it's like, like LA, he's a supernaturalist. He's a Christian. I'm not. But I get what, I do think Jesus Christ existed. I do. And it had to have been something pretty supernatural for people to remember him 2,000 years later. I'm just saying that the people are like, oh, there's nothing, it's all fake. And the atheists are like, there's never been a Jesus. I think you're a bit off the mark, on that one. No mark like that's left behind by a person unless they did something pretty amazing. But was he an alien? I don't know that. I honestly think I wrote a whole paper in high school about from the point of view of Jesus, and he was an alien. But as I've grown older, I don't really think Jesus was an alien. I think there might have been alien involvement in what happened in his life. Maybe, I don't know. But he was something supernatural.
Yeah, there's a lot of supernatural in the Bible. I mean, if you're...
That's the thing. That's the thing. Like with the Canaanites. Okay, like we were talking about the Canaanites tonight. Now, if you read the Bible, and I'm not a Bible scholar, I'm not going to quote passages. I can't do that. I wish I could, but I have read the Bible several times. I just don't have a memory for it. I wish I did. I wish I could just quote stuff like that, like this chapter, this Genesis. No, but I do remember the Israelites were basically God tells them to go and just kill men, women, children, kill all the Canaanites. That really put me off. When I was a young kid reading the Bible, that really put me off. I'm like, God's a dick. He's a bit of a. That's pretty off. Women and children. I mean, that's a Nazi. God's a Nazi. And I know if you're a Christian, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to offend you, but that's the truth of how I felt. Okay. And people like LA and supernaturalists and people into, what Canaanites being Nephilim is that God was trying to rape. Basically, they are the seed of Satan. And they were soulless and they're Nephilim. And so that's why it was justified. I still have a problem with that. I still have a problem with that. I mean, okay, maybe they were all evil or whatever. The children were evil. It still doesn't set right with me. I don't think God's involved that way. The way I look at God is like the Force. I've said that all the time. I don't think God's a conscious being. There might have been a Yahweh that communicated to Jewish people, but I believe Yahweh was an alien. That's my opinion. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's my opinion. I think Yahweh, he said he's a jealous God. I have a bigger picture of God than that. Than him being a jealous God. That sounds like an entity to me, controlling people and pretending to be God. I'm sorry if that offends you. And I feel like Jesus, the New Testament, is completely a different track than that. Sorry, that's how I've always felt about it. And I could be wrong. I am not a biblical scholar. I'm not. If you have faith in Christ in the Old Testament, I totally no problem with that. I totally understand. But for me, the reason why I don't call myself a Christian, even though I really believe Jesus Christ was here, I really believe he's divine. In some sense, the way somebody like that does not leave a mark. I've always been fascinated by Jesus. I just can never call myself a Christian because it follows the Old Testament and the New Testament. I'm sorry, the Old Testament just screams alien. I don't think they created us completely either, though. There's a lot of that too. I think they interfered with us, with our DNA. I don't think they put us here. I think they found the original version of us and like, let's change it. All right, we got somebody else on the line. Of course, we called him, so we got to answer. We called him out. Hey, Zach, how you doing?
Doing pretty good, brother. Hey, you call me out, I'm coming on over. So here I am.
How you been, man?
Been better, man. But you know what? I'm a year older now. So
yeah, happy birthday, belated.
Appreciate it. So I wanted to piggyback a little bit of what you were just saying over there about really a lot of the criticism from a lot of like Christian conspiracy theorists really of how they claim really about certain aspects of the Bible and all this, and they automatically put it as demonic. And I do agree with you, at least on like the concept of like the Nephilim and all that they were these soulless beings, that they were inherently evil and all this.
I mean, it sounds like they were. I mean, the Bible does describe them, and if you get into Enoch, definitely sound very evil. But is that propaganda?
Well, here's actually, this is a discussion that I had with a coworker of mine. He's a devout Christian. He asked this question. He said, would God ever let his word become distorted? And I told him this. I said, God did not print that book in a printing press. Man printed that.
Yeah, which version are you talking about? Which version's right? You know,
language. It's like there's like changes in terminology and slang and everything else. I mean, I take a look at my mother's Bible from the 1960s, and you take a look at one that just came fresh off the press from Christian Books Inc. or whatever, and just the whole entire terminology is completely different.
Well, I mean, we've had Paul Wallace on here to talk about how the meanings have been translated wrong on a lot of these words, and he's a Christian. He believes in Jesus, but he sees a bigger picture in it, and that not the typical Christian line of view.
Not to mention, there's been several books from the Bible that have just been deleted.
Well, like the Book of Enoch, which talks about the Nephilim and Watchers, and and laying with men or laying with the women, and the Nephilim being born. Oh yeah.
And there's also multiple denominations of Christianity, so each and every single religion has a different interpretation of the same word. If it was all one unified word, there wouldn't be, Protestants fighting against Catholics and Mormons fighting against everybody else. So I don't really know. Just that's really where it comes down to it, is that I have to say this. They basically take a look at history and they take a look at modern events, and automatically they point back to demonic or whatever it might be. But me, I'm more skeptical. I'm a little bit more open-minded, so I'm willing to listen to anything. But
when it would see semantics, I think L.A. Marzulli got it right when it's tomato. They call it aliens. He calls it angels, demons, aliens, interdimensional beings, whatever they be. I do believe they were very prevalent in the ancient times for sure, and I still think they're here. After my own experiences, there are things we don't understand that exist in another realm that affect us every day, and we don't even realize it, or how they how they are affecting us. And in ancient times, definitely these things would be godlike aliens would definitely be godlike, but what about interdimensional things? Like the shadow person I experienced. If I was at a primitive back in the day, I'd like, oh, I was a demon. There was a thing. I haven't qualified that because I'm a modern age, I guess. I don't know. But what I encountered was supernatural beyond words. We got a statement from Lockbeard here. Perhaps ancient leader, king god, has been elevated to a supernatural status over time. A story passed over thousands of years becomes unrecognizable from original events. It's possible, too. I mean, a lot of these people just been normal people that just had a lot of power and then ruled as gods. I mean, I still think they're aliens. Half of them.
I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's alien.
Yeah, but also really just the establishment themselves are going to hijack the whole entire UFO concept, and they're going to twist it to their own narrative.
Like I said, create a new religion out of it. But I won't trust it. I won't trust the aliens coming off the ship saying, we're bringing you peace and energy and all that stuff. Nope. Saw that movie. It was called V. It wasn't good. Didn't end well. I know you're going to eat a gerbil.
Yep.
Oh. I hate all the serpent stuff, we didn't get into that tonight with L.A. Marzulli. I mean, we talk about serpent worship and dragons all through all these different cultures. I hate snakes. Sorry, Rob. I hate snakes. I hate reptiles. So if that is the alien bad guys, I'm right there with the pitchfork because I hate snakes. Nope, not going to trust a snake. Not going to trust a lizard person. Just me. I don't know. What about you, Zach? You trust lizard people?
I don't really trust anybody originally from the start, so you really have to earn my trust for me to fully trust you, especially if you're of a different species from me. I'm definitely going to be very, very cautious around you.
If they look like monkeys, man, I don't want nothing to do with them. Snakes freak you out, monkeys freak me out.
Yeah. Monkeys freak you out?
Yeah, man.
They're primate, like your relative. Man.
Yeah, I know, man. I don't know.
Like they're throwing poo at you, I guess. I don't know.
I showed
Monkeys
him
don't
the
bother me.
cutest picture of a monkey, too. George the monkey opening his mail.
Monkeys, really? Well, never the guess.
Yeah, I learned Rob did not care.
Doesn't like monkeys. I think there's a lot more people that don't like snakes than they don't like monkeys, right? I
I'll
think you're on
agree.
the weird end on that.
Yeah, I definitely am. I had reoccurring dreams of a freaking gorilla chasing me, like over and over and over.
Past life.
Yeah,
Past life.
I don't know.
Maybe
And then I hear, Terry Lovelace talking about, waking up with these monkeys in his room, and I'm like, oh hell no.
That is creepy. That is creepy.
Yeah,
like I said, when I first read Incident Devil's Dead and his talk about that, it was at the same time my son was like always singing, and his favorite book was Four Little Monkeys Jumping on the Bed, and then I'm reading this, and I'm like, oh, that creeps me out.
Yeah,
you're not really seeing any monkeys in your bedroom, right?
Exactly.
Don't want to hear that. Zach, you got anything else? What else been going on?
You know what, Rob? This will probably scare you, actually. This is kind of funny. Little side note. My dad, when I was much younger, he convinced my siblings and I that my mother kept flying monkeys up in the attic, kind of like from the Wizard of Oz.
Oh, geez.
To keep us from going up there. And actually, one time, to really prove his point, he actually climbed up the ladder right there. And he said, oh, my God, the monkeys have gotten loose. Chris, everybody run. It scared the crap out of us. We never went up into that attic.
Yeah.
But you know what? I hear movement up in my attic, so I think she probably bought the monkeys across the country. So she probably had them up in the attic still.
Exactly.
I do admit the monkeys with wings freaked me out as a kid. And Wizard of Oz. That was freaking. Monkeys shouldn't have wings.
No.
I'll
take 100 snakes over one flying monkey.
No, I'll take the monkey with the wing over one little like snake. I will, because that's how much I hate snakes.
That's some creepy fallen angel stuff right there.
There's so much in history of like when you talk about giants and gods, like Lord Pakal of the I think of the Incans, or I'm not an archaeologist, but the ancient gods that they worship, they were supposed to be huge. You look at the Titans and huge. I think there was some other race here. Were they evil? Were they the Nephilim? That could have been propaganda, to justify wiping them off the faces of the earth. I don't know. And, the other thing interesting about it too, and I didn't get to see so much we could have talked to LA about, is you talk about the Paracas skulls and they were underground. That they found no evidence in those underground caves where they lived of torchlight being used. So how did they see? They have bigger orbital. Those skulls have a bigger orbital socket.
Yeah.
And I saw an interview. LA was talking about how they had studied it, and without the scientists studying those, knowing about his theory about that they had night vision, they could see underground. There's caves all over the world where they describe, like, you think about reptilians. How many reptilian stories have you heard where reptilians are in some kind of cave that somebody sees come out of, or Bigfoot even? And Bigfoot, we've talked about with Jason Offit and others on this subject, always has like this really sulfuric smell. Why would that be? Well, probably because he's underground in some stinking cave. and look at the Enkidu of the Sumerians. They were like a worker force, a beast. It worked in mines, underground.
Yeah.
Are they still there?
Could be.
And all other kinds of creatures underground.
Yeah, I mean, you figure there's, owls would, there's all kinds of animals right now that have great night vision, and I mean, it's just genetic. And you figure if something lives underground, they're gonna adapt to having night vision.
Maybe somebody can help me out with this. There's a movie I saw when I was a kid that scared the hell out of me, and it fueled my passion to want to go caving. Even though I did stuff that scared me, I went caving. I always think about this movie, but I never could remember the name of the movie. Okay, and this had to have been in the '80s. I was a kid. It was on HBO. I know they had it on HBO for a while. I don't know if it was in theaters or not. It was probably a bad horror movie. But these people go down in a cave, like they're cavers. They go down, and then there's like these like whitish, ghoulish kind of creatures down there. This is the 80s. I don't know what the movie was, but it scared the crap out of me as a kid, but my imagination went wild with it, and that's why I always wanted to go caving. And I did. Never ran into anything, but it makes me wonder, like, how many of these things, what do we not know is living underground? I mean, what happened to the Procas? Did they just go further underground? And the Bigfoot, how many of those are actually why we don't see them most of the time, because they have caves and hidden tunnels and they're underground.
Yeah.
Well, I won't keep you, Zach, unless you got anything else.
No, I was just trying to think of the movie that you were thinking of, but the closest thing that I could really think of was,
it wasn't a big movie. It wasn't a big movie, I don't think. I just remember my mom got HBO, and she's like, okay, fine. It's like, Mom, they go down in a cave, and there's monsters. Let's watch. Please, please, please. Like, I begged her to watch The Shining, and I watched this. And I think she watched it with me. I'm pretty sure, but I don't know what the name of the movie was. It was 1980s. I don't know what. It wasn't the Descent movie was creepy as hell. I swear Descent got a lot of its ideas from this movie.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the movie was. It was an 80s movie. Probably wasn't a very big movie. Rat People? Is there a movie called Rat People? I don't think so. I don't think that was it.
Or Invasion of the Mole Snatchers or something like that.
The Mole People. Mole People. I don't know. I just remember these cavers go down, and then they run into these. It was probably, if I see it now, it scared the crap out of me. If I saw it now, I'd probably laugh at it, or I'd still be scared. I don't know. But the reason I was also fascinated with it is my mom took me and my cousin and my aunt went to Mammoth Cave when we were like 6 years old or something like that, and I was just I loved it every second of it. I kept thinking of that movie. I watched that movie when I was really young, and I probably shouldn't have. But I mean, you think about it, all the vast chambers underground, anything possible could still be down there.
Like the oceans, there's still so much in the oceans we haven't discovered.
Yeah. I mean, you talk about UFOs and everything, disappearing into the ocean. I mean, what better place to hide, I mean,
and honestly, if they're transphasic, I mean, they can pass through a wall. They can pass you through a wall. They can pass a ship through a wall. They literally could put an underground bunker anywhere and just transphase. What that means is, make themselves so they can phase through material, the ground, into any kind of bunker, hidden thing. You don't even have to have an opening.
Yeah.
I mean, how many UFOs are spotted around mountains, like Shasta Mountain, stuff like that,
Or
they
even
say there's
the
UFO
moon.
bases.
How it looks like they're
about the
going
moon.
into the moon.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, my fascination with that. Waiting for us to go to the moon again. Yay, we'll find out. Maybe? No. I don't know.
Those
see, I should look at the...
We haven't been over there, so...
What is this? Get off my stream, fish.
Oh, no, that's
Cancel
just
that. You don't want to
troll
advertise on my
Twitch.
stream. Get rid of him for me, will you? Because it won't let me do it on here anymore for some reason. Used to let me like
Not
delete
an
the stuff on
admin
this end.
yours.
On Facebook? Oh, that's on Twitch. Never
Yeah.
mind. Yeah, it's damn Twitch.
Anyway, Jason, I'm going to go for right now, man. Thank you so much for allowing me to call in. It's always a pleasure talking to you guys.
All right, man. You have a great night.
Have a good night, everybody.
You too, man.
Anybody else? We're about ready to call it. Because I don't know what else to talk about.
Name of that movie wasn't Monstroid, was it?
No, I don't think so. I really don't know. I guess people could name any kind of movie and I wouldn't remember because I was just a kid, but
Become
maybe so.
famous buying followers. That just makes me laugh. Like, you're becoming famous to what? A bunch of bots?
Right. Buy followers. Is that how it works? 6 years of doing this? That's all I needed to do?
Yeah, just buy your followers. Why even put on a show?
All right, we got another caller, so I guess we're going to keep going here. Who do we got on the line?
Yours truly.
D?
Yeah.
You're breaking up a little bit, D. Hopefully we can keep you on. Well, how you been?
Oh, just aggravated. I just got my throat test yet last week, so I'm hoping I got a new appointment for in June. I think the 7th or the 8th. I can't remember.
Oh. Well, wishing the best on that.
Yeah, those ding dongs from that motive care, they screwed up my appointments. So it's giving me a headache. So I have 3 appointments this week, and I see Dr. John. I'm going back to fit rehab. It's going to be lovely because I have to tell him I fell tonight. I fell backwards at the store, and I fell right to the ground inside Walmart. So I couldn't get up. I felt like I was a turtle on a shell.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, gee.
Yeah, I hit my friend of mine, Brendan, tickled my back leg when he was walking past me at the register, and I went to scratch it, and all of a sudden both of my legs and my braces got together, and I lost my balance, and I went back, and then I hit my one arm that doesn't touch the gas pedal. That hit the ground, and then my backside, and then I hit my head.
Oh, jeez.
Dang.
Not a good day.
You're like our nephew's 5 or 6 year old nephew is like very accident prone. You guys would get along.
I've been since the day I was born.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, we got this nephew. He's like literally it's like, what is he going to injure next or make us feel like he's going to kill himself next on? He's just like, totally accident prone, this kid. I'm like, I love him to death. I love him dearly, but I don't want him over at my house because I'm afraid what's going to happen while he's here. How is he going to get injured?
Yeah. I used to walk in the fire hydrants. I used to just walk in people's fencing, walking to people I don't even know that they're there, and walking cars.
This is the one that jabbed his brother hit him with a door and jabbed his toothbrush through the back of his throat. Julian. Yeah. He's not actually my nephew, but he's like a nephew because they're like, big time family friends. So, they're all like our kids. And this kid just recently had his eye almost get knocked out. So, I mean, like, yeah, he's constantly, all the time.
That toothbrush thing was scary.
So, Dee, what do you think? What do you think about tonight's guest and UFO disclosure happening? What's your thoughts?
Oh, he was nice, but I didn't like his mustache.
I didn't miss that. What'd you say, Dee? You broke up.
I didn't like his mustache. I think Rob's mustache was a lot nicer.
Oh, he's like his mustache. Okay.
Yeah.
But what do you think?
Missed a
you think the government's going to disclose UFOs and we're going to have any aliens come here and give us, like chips that are going to make us 500 years old?
I have a feeling, but if they come and get me, I'm calling you guys first, so you go with me.
Yeah, you
if
better
they come over. Oh, yeah. I'm bringing my cell phone and my tablet with me. I'm going to tell them I have to call some family members so they don't get worried, so they can come for a ride.
I don't know if you want to go for a ride if you don't like alien butt probes. Just saying. I seriously, most people don't have a good time. Some do, some do. We've had some on here who've had a really good time, but I'd say the majority don't. So don't recommend it.
Yeah. And guess what? The other day, I was digging in the ground to plant these bulbs and for the hyacinths, and I came in contact with a hard rock in the ground, and I pulled this black rock thing, and it looked like something that came from space, like that when Denise gave to me. It's those asteroid things. So I have it, and I send it to Jamie, and my one friend Linda says, "Oh, I don't believe in asteroids or space aliens and stuff." She says, "I think it's coal, but it's very, it's not heavy at all."
Well, actually,
So
coal isn't. It could be. I mean, coal isn't very heavy.
Is it magnetic?
No,
Yeah. Is it magnetic?
I don't know. I'll try it if it
Yeah,
sticks
see if
on
it's
my. Okay, I'll check it out.
And you can always send me. I mean, it's hard for my wife. My wife's really into rocks and stones, and she usually can identify a lot. So you can always send me a picture, and I can show it to her and see what she says.
I will. I'll take a picture with my tablet because that takes better pictures than my cell phone.
I'll ask my wife. I mean, she might be able to tell. I don't know, but she knows that stuff way better than me.
Oh, that's good. Maybe we can become millionaires, and I'll share with you.
No, I just gotta buy some more followers, and I'm right there. I'll be rich and famous.
Yeah. Oh, and guess what? You know the new farm group?
Yeah.
Well, I just got a post the other day, and they said that August is the MUFON Symposium in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
But you have to pay to go there, but they're showing it on stream on the Facebook. But I'm hoping to watch it, but if they charge you to watch it on Facebook, I
no.
watch
Yeah,
it.
no, you'll be bored. Sorry.
I'm gonna be.
I got somebody else.
Gonna be.
I'm gonna let you go, D, because I do have somebody else trying to call in right now. Unless you got anything else you wanted to say.
No, but next week's gonna be Memorial Day. Are we all gonna be together? And don't forget to wear red, white, and blue.
I will try to remember. And next week we will be on. Same bad time, same bad channel. Our guest next week's Deborah Lynn Katz. She's author of You Are a Psychic and a number of other books.
Oh, cool. Oh, cool.
So we'll have her on. Go ahead, D.
Thank you very much. And I'm going to be working on my poem because I have to put it in by the end of the week, and I don't have anything to write.
Okay. Well, you take care of yourself, D. You be careful, okay?
I will love all of you very much.
All right. Have a great day. And then I'll see you next Sunday.
Yes. Cheerio. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Somebody else was calling in. I had to hang up on them because they called on the same line D was on. But if you want to call back in, who was it? I don't know if it shows me. It doesn't show me the number. I hate that. So that was D. See, I can't tell which number was not. Otherwise, I'd call it back, but I can't tell which one was what. Phone lines are open. Call in. Or we'll be ending soon. Somebody was trying to call. I wish I could hold it. I wish I don't have I don't have like a board system where I can just hold lines and stuff. Sadly, it's all rigged phones. What do we got in the chat room here going on too? Let's see that. What waits below? Ooh, I'm writing that down. What is it about albino cave dwellers? Here we go. We'll get to this phone call in just a second. But I think this person's got it. Lockbeard, I think you might have it. Yeah. What waits below? That might be it. That might be it. Look that up for me, Rob. Can you?
Yeah.
Look that up. What waits below? Dear God, and if I could find like a way I can watch this movie again and relive my childhood nightmare, I will. It sounds like it because it says albino cave dwellers. Man, you're my new best friend, Lockbeard. Albino cave dwellers.
Relive your childhood nightmare.
Yes, it scared the crap out of me as a kid, but I was totally fascinated. Always wanted to go caving ever after that, and because I also went to Mammoth Cave. It was like just a love. One day I take my kids there. The Mammoth Cave. They got, they'll probably be like, I'm bored, I want to go play video games, but I think it was awesome. All right, we got somebody else on the line here. Who do we got?
Hello.
Hello. Who do we have?
Oh, I'm Brendan.
Brendan?
Yeah.
Hi, how you doing, Brendan? First-time caller?
Yeah, I'm a first time.
You sound really young. How old are you?
13. I'm just bored looking on my phone.
Well,
I found you guys.
Well, awesome. That's why we keep it PG-13 for 13-year-olds, just like.
Are you
So-
watching us on Twitch by any chance?
Yes.
Ah, see, that's why you told me to get on Twitch. Well, Brendan, well, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Doing great. So you been watching the show tonight, then?
Yeah, I
So-
was the person that called before.
Okay, I thought so. Now, Brendan, you're 13 years old. You're seeing all this stuff happening, changing the world, and UFO disclosure. What are your thoughts? I would love to hear what a 13-year-old thinks about all this.
Is the masks from the CDC, if you have the vaccine, you can take it off. Is that really going to work?
That's a good. You know what? That's a really good question. You know why? You know why, Brendan? YouTube's like about ready to go. No, but you know why? That's a good question because it's an mRNA gene therapy. It's not an actual vaccine, and they tested that for like 10 years on animals. Not particularly for COVID virus because it was before this COVID version existed, but they tested it on COVID viruses to see if it would stop it from spreading within the animals, have any effect to boost their immune. You know what they found? They couldn't find anything. They could not prove at one point or another that it did anything. It did end up killing a lot of the animals, and they ended the tests. So is it going to stop? The other thing is they're not tracking it anymore either. They were tracking like what they call breakthrough cases. I don't know if you've heard of that. Basically, if you had the vaccine and you get COVID and have whatever effects from it, are you less sick because of it, or did it do anything at all? They're not tracking that anymore. So it's up in the air if it's actually ineffective.
Yeah, because I was in the store earlier and a whole bunch of people was without their masks, and you really wonder, do you really have the vaccine, and are you really going to keep people safe by, if you're not sick, are you really going to keep people safe in the store?
What I'm saying is even if you have the vaccine, even though the CDC says you're good, do we know that? If they're not even testing that.
I know, it's weird though, because everything that's going on, schools. And,
That's what I feel worst about is watching, because I'm a parent, Brandon. I have a 9-year-old and a 5-year-old, and I have work with teenagers, and it's hard watching you guys basically have your childhood robbed from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in the middle of the 6th grade, and then next thing you know, it happened. So we were required to go online.
Did you like doing virtual more than being in school though?
I kind of like it because my schoolwork is easier, but I miss going back to school, interacting with my teachers.
Oh yeah, my kid was loving it because he's like a mini version of me, and I'm very agoraphobic, and if I could just stay at home and not go out anywhere, that'd be me. But that's how my kid is. He loved it, and he didn't want to go back. But there's a part of him I think did like going back. I know he's done better going back. But it's all the activities and stuff. You guys only get to, Brendan, you only get to do this once. You only get to be
with
13
your
once.
Friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you feel like you need to keep wearing a mask. You wear a mask, and stay away from the other people that don't. I guess as best you can. It's hard. But the other thing I worry about is I don't want to see this whole thing turn into, show me your papers.
Yeah.
If they're teaching you history in school, I hope. You'll get that reference, but I don't want to go around and you have to prove. I work a retail job. I don't want to sit there and ask people if they let me see your vaccine papers so you don't have to wear a mask. I don't want to do that. Just wear a mask and we'll be good.
Yeah, just be safe,
Be
Yeah,
safe.
exactly.
And you're asking very important questions.
You are.
Yeah, it's crazy because I've seen kids just everywhere, all over the place, with questions. Younger kids asking me if if I know what's going on.
Well, I'm curious. What I'm curious to know is like, is it anywhere on a 13-year-old's radar about like UFO disclosure and what's happened in media? They just had the 60 Minutes thing talking about it. Any of your kids talking about this in school, or do they not care at all?
Actually, a lot of kids talk about like COVID and like if we're gonna get to go back to school. They actually are like, I'm surprised because last year nobody cared about school.
Yeah, yep.
What
It's working.
What about UFOs and aliens? Do you and your friends believe that there could be aliens out there?
Oh yeah, I believe that.
See, they believe, but they're not talking about it or thinking about it because they're too caught up in all this other crap we're shoving down their throat.
Because they're having to worry about all this.
The government. I mean, that's already been out, but look what they released finally to us about that UFO that crashed back when.
We talk about Roswell?
I don't know. I don't remember the name, but like both the aliens had died, and they took it to their base or something.
That could be a number of stories, but probably the one you're referring to is Roswell, and your government told you it was. They made up a number of different stories over the years.
Yeah, they said it was a satellite. That just crashed.
It wasn't a satellite. Back then it was a weather balloon. And then it was Project Mogul, which was also another high-altitude balloon they tried to claim it was. And this time they said it was dummies. So they made up a number of lies over the years. I think you're old enough to realize when somebody lies to you once, you don't believe a damn thing they say afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean, they've never admitted
it.
They've never admitted it. But go look up Roswell. No. Go look up the Roswell case. That's an infamous case. And there's some people think it was an alien. Some people think it was aliens. It's an old one. But there's a lot. That's not the only crash, Brennan. There's been a lot. There even before Roswell, there was a 1941, and now I had the guest on Paul Blake Smith. Where is it? Same town that Rush Limbaugh was born in. I can't think of it. Cape Girardeau.
There you
go. Missouri. 1941. There was an alien, a crash there, and an alien body. I mean, there was a crash in 1948 too, Aztec, wasn't there, or something like that. Yeah, there's been a number of UFO crashes throughout history. I mean, Aurora, Texas, in late 1800s. Descriptions of a crash there.
Yep, this is what I'm talking about.
Well, I'd like you to keep on listening. I'd love for you to call back in. We got to go to our last commercial break. I guess we're going for the whole show. Sorry, guys. I guess we're going to do another half hour. We'll come back. I get a 13-year-old in. You can stay if you want to stay online. If you got anything else you want to say, we're going to go to commercial break though.
All right. Well, sure. I mean, if you guys are all right with it, I mean, I ain't going anywhere yet, so.
We'll give you another couple minutes when we come back from commercial break and talk to you a little more, because this is interesting. I've had other younger. It's been a long time since I had somebody adolescent, I would say, don't take that personally, call into the show. But I love it when you do, because I love that you have an interest and a fascination or asking questions. You're asking questions that you should be asking, and I love that. It gives me hope. It really gives me hope. I need hope. All right, guys, we're going to go to this commercial break. We'll be back. Yes, I guess we're going to go for the full show. There you go, Royal. If you're still around, you better call in too, Royal. You're the one that gave me crap at the beginning of the show for saying we're only do 2 hours. You better call in. All right, guys, we'll be right back after the short commercial break.
Intercepted the transmission of unknown origin.
Transmission? Out here?
SOS.
Human.
Unknown.
Alien. Certificate X. Exclusive engagement at the Odeon Leicester Square. Now.
Any systematized transmission indicating a possible intelligent origin must be investigated.
In space. No one can hear you scream.
If you are interested in discovering the truth about the paranormal and want to hear from leading researchers in the field, join Justin Brown on his 3 weekly shows named My Paranormal Soapbox, Necromancer Live Show, and the Supernatural Symposium, live on Facebook, YouTube, and InterfaceDev.net.
This is an APAC studio presentation.
Hi, I'm Barry, owner-operator of Barry's Barometer Barn. Lately, I bet you've been lying awake at night asking yourself, how many barometers do I really need? Well, at Barry's Barometer Barn, we think you need more than one. Otherwise, we're gonna go out of business. Remember, at Barry's Barometer Barn, we don't know the meaning of high-pressure sales. Come on, folks, buy another barometer. I'm trying to put my kids through college, I've got a family to support, and a secret mistress who isn't cheap.
Visit Barry's Barometer Barn, 000 Storm Drive. Come on, folks, buy a barometer. I'm Barry's older brother, Larry, and every time one of you people walk past the store without coming in, Barry beats me.
This has been a presentation from Tim Morgan's APAC Studio. For more almost professional amateur comic studio content, visit the APAC YouTube channel. Search APAC 2002. That's APAC 2002 on YouTube.
When Alex Gardner is asleep, he has an extraordinary gift. The government wants it, the scientists want it, but to keep it may cost him his life. It might be better if Alex didn't sleep at all, but he cannot resist entering the dreamscape. Can you? See Dreamscape in the West End and all over London now, Certificate 15. It takes an extraordinary adventurer to enter the dreamscape.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from Talkstream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Join us every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time for Weird Wednesday, the live stream, with your hosts Jamie, the Living Dead Girl, and Rob, the Phantom, where we'll talk about all things paranormal, including zodiac, astrology, tarot card and oracle card readings, live ghost boxing and spirit communication, where we'll do Voices from Beyond, the Cold Case Files. So we hope you join us live on Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday night at midnight Eastern Standard Time. We hope to see you there. Bye-bye.
Since 1948, Fate magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition, bringing you the unusual, macabre, strange, and bizarre. Join host Kat Hobson Sunday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
Heat 'em up. Do, re, Egon.
You're listening to Paranormal Soup, bringing you the weird every Sunday night. Call into the show and join the discussion. The call-in lines are 219-230-4444 or 260-225-9419 or by Skype caller ID OOJBland00 or JBland Paranormal Soup. And now to your host, Jason Bland.
Well, the lines are open here. Actually, let me make sure they're open here again. Lines are open. Call in. Royal. Brendan hung up. We lost Brendan, but you know what? He should probably be in bed already because it's school tomorrow, right? I run upstairs on my commercial break. My kid was still up. I'm like, go to bed. Got school tomorrow. I have to get up early tomorrow to take you there. But I love seeing a young person be interested in this subject. I want more people, young and old, to be more interested in these subjects. They should be, especially about UFOs and what's, are we gonna be aliens invading, coming here peacefully, or we're all doomed? I don't know. Should be interested, right? The lines are open. Join the conversation, but let's get back to the show. All right. Thought I hit accept. There we go. Oh, somebody's trying to call in, but it's not letting me accept their call. That's weird.
It's an alien.
It's an alien trying to call in. All right,
Yeah,
let's try that again.
I saw somebody.
Try to hit it, and it just hangs up.
I saw somebody in the chat earlier. It may have been Freedom Bird. They said maybe the vaccination or whatever is so the
I saw
aliens, they won't get them sick.
Like
That's
how War of the Worlds ended?
Yeah, exactly.
Died by a cold.
Yeah.
All right, I think I got whoever called in here. Who we got on the line?
Hey, Jason, can you hear me?
I hear you.
Oh, this is Royal in Connecticut. What's up, buddy?
Thank you for calling. I was like, you better call.
No, I should. I was the one asking you to stay on later. I should call in.
So how you been, man?
So I'm good. How about yourself? Everything good?
Yeah, good. Just dealing with the world as it is.
Exactly, same here. Listen, what do you think about June? What do you think they're going to disclose with us with all the UFO activity? You think they're going to come out with any kind of full disclosure, or are they going to just do what they normally do?
I think it's going to be crap. I mean, we might get one kernel of something we could really focus on and maybe unravel it.
Right.
This is the thing. Either they come out with just one thing that just totally admits that we're being here, that we're being visited, like official confirmation, here's the evidence, materials, or, I mean, the footage is one thing, but if you have like the actual alien materials, that's a whole other deal. What is going on with my phone line? You still there, Royal?
Yeah. I'm hearing some type of noise.
Yeah. Somebody else trying to call in. This line is full. Hold on.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a full disclosure.
Yeah, I'm not getting my hopes up. What it sounds like is that a lot of the intelligence agencies and all that have all basically stonewalled this investigation.
Right.
That's what.
Well, France has already come forward and basically told all their citizens that UFOs are real.
Yeah.
They are here. They're not saying they're aliens flying them, but they are admitting that there is something going on. And I mean, it's common sense. We all know it's real. It exists. It's happening. But the government just holds everything back from us. And I would love for there to be full disclosure, personally.
Yeah. Do you think it would make people lose their minds?
No, I think actually the opposite. The way the world is today, Jason, I think it would actually help us. Maybe it would make us realize once and for all, hey, we're all in the same boat here.
Oh, the Reagan speech, basically?
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
That's if they're a threat.
Right.
If they're all here.
Well, I don't know that they're a threat. I mean, because I would think with that kind of technology, if they wanted to really harm us, they could have done it already.
Right.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's something to it. They're definitely, I believe they are going over our nuclear sites. I believe they can shut down our weaponry. I do believe they've been doing this for a while now. I would just personally like for the government to just come forward and tell us once and for all that, this stuff is real. I mean, they're real. They've been coming here forever, 70-plus years that we, know of already. And it would be great for them to just give us full disclosure.
I honestly, I think they won't because it's about control. And if they're not the big cheese on the block with the power, because they can't stop what the aliens are doing, then they've lost control. Everybody
That's
wants
a
to
good
turn.
point.
I think that's what why there's so much, two different sides in this country right now with people that are like, trust the media and trust your government, get the jab, and people like me are like, I don't trust them, I don't trust the government, I don't trust any of it.
And we all know we can't trust the media or the government. You're absolutely correct.
But there's tons of people who would disagree with us on that. Tons of people.
Right.
People I know
Right.
and love. And why? Because
Right.
I think it's the thought that if the government isn't in control, doesn't know how to solve things, then we're in big trouble. And that's a scary thought to people. They want to hold on to the media behind them, that everything is par for par, good to go. Nobody's lying. We're all uppity up here. We know what's going on. Everything's all those people are conspiracy nuts. They don't want it. It's too scary of a thought.
Right. I can't recall if you ever said you have or you haven't. Have you ever seen a UFO yourself? Or
yes.
Yeah, I have too. Twice in my life. Once in the 80s, once in the late 70s. I mean, there's no doubt what I saw seemed to be not of this world, but I mean, again, I can't, I'm just one person. I saw what I saw, and I can't explain it.
I saw it with a group of other friends. We were teenagers. It was like 96 or 97. And this thing was very low flying and huge. No lights, though.
Right.
And it wasn't saucer shaped. It was like rectangular shape. And like I always describe it like the scene of the Star Destroyer going over the screenshot in Star Wars. This is how it like went over our heads. Just silent. Completely silent. Something told me to look up, and something told everybody to look up because we all were like this, looking up with our jaws hanging open. And nobody said a word. It was like time slowed down, and then when it was gone, it was like hard to grasp that it happened. Like it was
exactly. That's exactly how I felt. I mean, I saw the classic triangle and with the three lights, and this thing was making absolutely no noise whatsoever. It was just literally sitting in the sky right above the tree. And it just started to coast off slowly, going north, and just casually went away. I couldn't believe what I was looking at.
Yeah,
but
that was it. I mean, I'd already been like, a total like weirdo kid and believed in UFOs and was totally fascinated by it and all, but I'd never really seen one. And when I saw that, this only major UFO I've ever seen in my life. But to me, the verdict's out on that. I know for sure now. There's no way that was us.
Right.
So aliens are real. That was the confirmation for me.
Right. Interesting. Well, I'm just hoping they come out and they give us some. I mean, I saw a Navy pilot, as a matter of fact, yesterday on the news, and he was saying these things have been coming here forever. He said for 2 years they were seeing them on a daily basis when he was active.
Right, I mentioned that.
He said for 2 years straight, he was literally seeing them. Well, not he, but they were seeing them daily on a daily basis. He said, so yeah, they exist. They're real. What they are, we don't know. But it doesn't seem to be any type of technology that we have that the government is telling us about anyway.
Right.
So it's quite interesting. I'm fascinated by the topic myself.
I am. I just have no trust in and nothing against Luis Elizondo. I'm not trying to degrade what he's doing. I'm not, but I don't trust him. That's nothing against him.
Right.
Just how I've been raised in the UFO community. I'm not going to trust you, buddy. It's not because even you work for the government. It's just I know how you might be an honest person, but you might be being played. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. That is true.
If they're going to disclose it, it's going to be on how they're going to control it. But the thing is, once you let that can of worms out, or that snowball rolls down the hill, it's going to unleash a whole tidal wave of questions, and people are going to know. They can't say we didn't know anything about it, or we don't know about it when we have Roswell, we have all the Ketzberg, and we have all these other things where the government was involved in hiding this stuff up. So we want to know.
Well, I also believe that we do have aliens. I believe that we have captured them. I do believe we do have them.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm a firm believer in that.
That's what I'm saying is that, you have Mark Rubio, like, we want answers in that. Mark Rubio doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't know about any of that. Senators don't know about this. It's so deep, but it's there. There are people who know.
Right.
And once you start once you start openly admitting that there is something, then that's going to unravel that eventually, maybe years from now. But it is definitely, once you can't just, either they don't exist or they do. And if they do and you know about it, then it's going to start raising questions about, like, what's at Wright-Patterson? What's at Area 51? What happened at Ketzberg? What happened at Roswell? It's going to be a snowball effect. If the media really got their attention behind it, it could actually be real journalists. We might get.
Well, you would think it would be one of the biggest stories that we should be talking about already. I mean, you talk about national security. I mean, this is it. They're coming into our airspace and everything. I mean, this is that
Yeah, we're too
national
busy arguing about
security.
who can use what bathroom right now, and
Exactly. That's why I say, in a way, I do think it would be good. It would be good for us, if not full disclosure, at least confirmation that we're not crazy. We know what we're saying. They have been coming here for years. They do exist. What they are, where they come from, we don't know. But at least come that far. Because I think everybody out there, I think at least half the people believe that they are real. And so they're all over the world, and we've been seeing them. I mean, forever. I mean, this has just been going on forever, and it's getting more and more. With everybody's carrying a camera nowadays.
There's paintings of UFOs in them,
in caves, absolutely.
And aliens, and literally, how long do we have to be telling you they're here?
Right.
But
I mean, that's basically what I wanted to bring up. I know it's supposed. What is it, like the middle of June? I believe they're supposed to come out with the report, right?
Yeah, it is. And like I said, I'm trying not to get my hopes up too much for it because I don't even trust what they'll tell us.
Right.
Is it some kind of controlled Project Blue Beam? There's aliens, but we're going to fake it for our own purposes and control.
Right.
That's what freaks me out. You hear Elon Musk's take on aliens, and he's like, they don't exist. I mean, this guy's seen more of space than any of us will ever see, probably.
Right.
And he's like, no, there's no aliens. Is he just lying, or is he a firm believer?
You would think he has more information than that. You would think he'd be at least a believer. I mean, the guy's all about space.
They got Starlink up there. It's got to be catching something.
It's got to see something.
Right.
Man. There's like thousands of them now.
Yeah,
or either that, him being involved with the space program, maybe he's sworn to some type of secrecy himself.
Well, look at Bigelow. Look at Bigelow. I mean, how much he was involved in aerodynamics and space industry and all that, and he's just nowadays doesn't give a crap. He's just saying, no, they're real, they're here, and he's put his money where his mouth is. He's sure as heck investigated a lot, but I still don't trust, because he's a little bit behind it, but I still don't trust Luis Elizondo, Tom DeLonge, and the whole To the Stars thing. It just doesn't sit right with me.
Right.
I feel like there's a bunch of crap being fed to us, and it's a big money scheme.
Right.
That's what I really feel like. There's a big money scheme behind this. Just saying.
Right.
It's a UFO community. I can't help but believe that's a big part of it. We're going to make a bunch of documentaries and books, and you're going to give us a bunch of money, and we'll still not have any answers to our questions.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like I said, I'm hoping for the best. I hope they give us some good, something positive information that we don't already know. And I hope they just get it over with and just say, look, I personally think it'd be good for us to know they're real. I think it would be good for the country. I think it would be good for the world. I think the world should know that they're coming here. And
I think we need it because as human race, we need to be taken down a notch.
We need to come to grips with the fact that, look, we're all on the same planet living together here, man. Let's make the best of it. It's a little bit more important stuff going on than all this silliness between all these, political fighting and.
Like, what athlete's going to offend you now with their stupid statement, or a Hollywood actor? I don't care.
Exactly.
They're all stupid.
Exactly.
We're offended by everything, all this stuff. And, like, you got this 13-year-old, I mean, all they're talking about is COVID in these schools. These kids are so scared.
Right, they're scaring the crap out of these kids. They're scaring the kids to death. I mean, it's horrible.
For something that
they don't know what to do.
99.9936% chance of surviving. These
right. I mean, I was just the other day trying to wonder what these poor kids must feel like not being able to go to school for over a year. I mean, that's unheard of.
Or, have a social life, or
right.
Yeah, like
these kids are being held back a year of their life.
Yeah, you only get to be 13 once.
Yeah,
exactly. All right. Well, I just wanted to call in, run that by you, see what your thoughts were.
Yeah, I like I said, don't have big hopes for it. We'll see. The great Zen master said, "We shall see."
We shall see.
Thank you, Royal.
Absolutely.
Man.
No problem at all. All right, Jamie, Rob, have a good night as well, and I'll go back to watching the show.
All right, bud. Somebody else was trying to call in. I only got 2 different lines with 2 different ways to call in. I only take you at one at a time on one of the lines. So if you called, I don't know who it was. Doesn't tell me. It says something voice audio was Collins, Massachusetts. I think was Royal. I'm not sure. Somebody try calling in. You can call in again. Lines are open. We got a little bit more time.
I mean, it would be pretty, it's going to freak a lot of people out, but it would be pretty awesome if they just said, hey, Roswell was real. We got aliens. We have technology. We made a trade, whatever. I mean, if they just come out and say it, it's going to flip a lot of people out because there's still a lot of people that aren't ready.
But I just don't think that's happening.
No, I don't think it's happening either. I just think it would be cool if they.
You know why I know? You know why I know? Is because Biden laughed at the reporter and walked off.
Exactly.
Because his administration's he's got people working for him. I don't think he has a damn clue, but he's got people working for him and be like, listen, you better start taking this seriously. This stuff's going to come down the line and people are going to be talking about it. We need to address this. Obviously, they don't have that worry at all.
Yeah.
At least from that press conference, it doesn't seem like it. Or Biden forgot they told him that you need to be concerned about this. I don't know. That's
true.
possible.
But I mean,
dear God, if they come down and say, take us to your leader.
Oh, geez.
Previous president, this president, like, yeah, you don't want to do that.
The thing about Trump, I mean, he's a goony, whatever. But the thing that with him is like his grandfather, whatever, had that whole thing with Tesla.
Uncle.
With Tesla.
Uncle, not his grandfather, his uncle.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be some weirdness in there. That's
Maybe.
more questions I want to know.
That's a whole other rabbit.
That's a whole other.
I'll never forget the old chancellor of my college came into he was shopping at my store and he's like, you do that paranormal stuff. You ever look into the Baron Trump thing and his, like the book that was written back in the 1800s and time travel and all that. He was like, I'm like, prestigious chancellor of a college. I won't say his name. He's a great guy. But I don't want to do that to him. He's retired. I'm sure he doesn't care. But still, prestigious chancellor of a college, well known in my community, totally into that idea. Totally sucked him down that rabbit hole. Just that whole storyline. Go look it up. Time travel, Trump family.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy.
It's
I don't know.
weird. You love him or hate him. I mean, it's pretty.
What
weird.
did I always say about Trump though? He reminded me of Biff from Back to the Future.
Yeah.
That's kind of the concept. Like his uncle had a time machine, changed stuff for his family. I don't know. I don't know. It is really weird though. It is a really weird line of I guess research people have done on this.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think about it. I don't know. Trump time travel. I don't know. Fake news. I don't know.
But I mean, the book's real. The names in it are real. I mean, it's weather, whatever. It's just weird.
Yeah. I mean, time travel. There's Andrew Biswago, where you say he was a really weird guy. He ran for president, and he was supposed to be part of that MK Ultra like time travel thing or Montauk project. I'd love to get him on. Talk to him. I've listened. He totally sounds legit. I mean, totally. He never changes his story. He's always, there's supposedly a picture of him from the Civil War, from him traveling. I mean, I love time travel. We're gonna have Nick Redfern on. I think July. I can't remember. I got Nick Redfern on. He's got a new book coming out about time travel. I can't wait to read. Because I haven't had a show on time travel. Is it possible? Are we changing our future every day? Is that why there's a Mandela effect? I mean, that's the stuff that just makes me. Yes, I can't wait.
Yeah.
Phone lines got 10 minutes, people. I know somebody else tried calling in. I wish I could call them back, but I can't. This way this works, it does not show me. Used to, but it doesn't show me like area codes or anything, so I don't know who called when. Otherwise, I'd try calling back. But you got 10 minutes to call in. We'll see. I guess I made it this far. I was going to cut the show to an hour early. Here we are. I don't know, what else did I have? I've had a lot of articles I've left over that I didn't use in the World Wide Web of Weird because there's just been so much. There's this one, Australian woman develops Irish accent following tonsil surgery. Was an interesting one. I could read it all, but to me, every time that you get one of these stories of somebody getting like an accent or something from brain damage, and hers was tonsils. I mean, just to me, that points to reincarnation, past lives. Like, where is that built into you have an accent?
That just comes out of nowhere.
Right, exactly. I know not everybody believes in reincarnation. I mean, I don't think L.A. Marzulli, he's a Christian, doesn't believe in reincarnation. To me, it's the only reason I believe in it is because my two very vivid dreams I had. I just don't think my brain would have made all that up for nothing.
Yeah. And it is kind of weird that, you mentioned one of your kids said he chose you for parents.
Yeah. He told my wife that. Yeah.
That's a little
Liam
strange.
did.
You know,
Liam told that to my wife. You know, I mean, there's so many things. It's just so the biggest thing, you know, UFO disclosure and all that. What drives me nuts about human race is just we are the minority here asking the questions and like thinking about this stuff. I hate to say it, but we are.
Oh yeah,
we are the minority. You know, I mean, if I did a gaming channel, boy, I'd have hundreds of thousands of subscribers and whatever. If I talked about politics, I'd probably have a lot more subscribers. If I talked about pop culture, I'd be a lot more, you know, but when it comes to paranormal, it's a real hard to climb, man.
Yeah.
It's hard to find those people out there. I mean, there were. I mean, Rob Bell had like 16 million listeners at one time. I mean, he had a huge audience, people to be interested, but it's just hard to get people's attention with it nowadays. But they should. I just don't understand why people don't wonder or want to think about it. I think a lot of it has to do with fear. If the world isn't the way they were raised about and told about, what the media tells them, then dear God, everything's out of control. It's chaos, and oh my God, you know, like there's an I see it in people when they get like, oh, we're going to talk about this stuff. No, that's weird. You know, it's fear. I think it's fear.
Well, just like that kid that called in. I mean, you know, that's what kids are being taught now is fear, basically.
Yeah.
Living their life in fear, worrying about
God.
what's around the corner, what's their
The
friends.
tone in his voice broke my heart.
Doesn't it? It breaks your heart. As a parent, it breaks my heart.
This child has been broken through this, and he's having questions that us as adults have. We don't know how to answer it. And these kids are trying to make sense out of it.
You know, I have a coworker. She said she went to her doctor. My doctor's trying to get me to come in. I'm like, I know what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
She goes, her doctor's like, I don't feel like I need the vaccine. He's like, all that stuff they're saying about the vaccines and all that, it's all lies. It's all lies. Didn't point out what was lies or anything like that. So I gave her a bunch of information. I said, okay, you go talk to him. Ask him which one's a lie. She's like, I'm ready. You know, like, you know, but I'm saying it's just like, just shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. We do.
I have this, and I say, tell me which of these is a lie.
Yeah.
A whole
exactly.
20-page thing here from the Citizens Journal. Tell me which of these is a lie.
No, it's all lies, Jamie. You're all conspiracy theorists.
Yep.
Take off your tinfoil hats. You know, I have this argument with people I care about, that I love, and I'm not, like I said, I still, you know, I understand why people get the vaccine. I would, if I had, you know, I felt I was in danger, like corporate mortalities, things that could really have, you know, the virus I believe is real. I've had guests on here who say it isn't. I disagree. I believe it's completely real. I know people have gotten super sick. I've known people who've died. It is real. I don't agree. Just so people get that from me. I believe it's real. I believe it's real, and it was created by China.
Yeah.
You know, and I believe we helped pay for it.
It was on our quarters. I mean, our quarters had bets. They said, get ready for a Christmas present. And then we got COVID. My guests are always welcome to have their opinions, and I let them say it, you know, whatever. But just so you know where I stand on it, I believe it's completely real. I do believe it kills people, but I think it's a very small percentage, and it's been totally blown out of proportion. And people need to be asking real questions. Don't just please, people, just stop trusting them. Not to say don't listen to them. Listen, get your facts from CBS News, MSN, get what they tell you is facts, and then go research it. Go look for yourself. Don't just take it from their mouth and say it's all true and that everybody else is a liar. Just go research it. That's all I ask you to do. Just open your minds, question a little bit, just a little bit. Just reach out and question just a little bit. Don't rely on memes.
Yeah, just please don't. and that goes for the conspiracy theorist memes. There's tons of crap out there. I'm just like, oh, you God, like the whole 5G thing is so stupid. I'm sorry, it is. The whole, they're putting a nanoparticle chip inside you with that is stupid. I'm sorry, it is stupid. You know, but there should be legitimate concerns about something like this. You know, actual medical concerns that people should look into. Just saying, should ask the questions. That's all I ask. Too many people are sheeple. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I've been asked, my dad asked me, he's like, what is your problem? Why do you not trust why are you so distrustful of the government? So distrustful of all the, I'm like, they give me plenty of reason to be. Yeah. History has my back on this.
Yeah. You know,
I mean, look at the radiation tests they did here in Mound, Indiana, and Gary, Indiana. I mean, they've tested on humans. Military has tested on humans. That is certifiable, documented fact. You know, I don't trust. Sorry, I don't. And your media. Oh my God.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about politics. It's just in general the things they've lied and distorted.
Yeah.
If there's a narrative they have, they will twist the facts to make it fit that narrative. I don't care what your opinion is about, politically. It's the truth. Fox News, MSN, CNN, they all do it for either side. That's why I hate them all.
Yeah.
Don't do your research. Do it on your own. And I'm not talking about YouTube videos. I'm like, go read. Read. Takes time. I read a lot. I used to read books and stuff I enjoy, but I have to do research for the show half the time. And I do a lot of reading on a lot of these subjects because I don't trust what's going on. I'm trying to figure it out too. Don't have the answers. I can't tell you. All I can tell you is to ask the questions.
Yeah.
That's all I can do. I'm not the one with the answers. No way. No. Not at all.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I have plenty of, family and friends that they've got the vaccine, and I've got.
My parents did, and I honestly, part of me really glad they did. I mean, they are high risk. They
Yeah.
need something. I'm a deadly scared of them getting the virus and it hurting them. I can see why they got the vaccine. If you got those kind of risks, it's worth the risk to take the vaccine. I really do think it is.
Yeah.
But the question is they have no information on the long-term use of, what the effects of this are long-term.
Yeah.
There goes my YouTube channel.
They're not releasing the raw data that they do have. They're only giving like the 97% statistics. They will not let you look at that raw data. And there's not enough data to show what long-term effects there could be yet.
And the whole not tracking the breakthrough cases to me that's a big sign that something's up, something's wrong.
Yeah.
If they're not going to track that, there's something up. Boy, this channel's getting knocked.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
God.
definitely. We're nuked.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
I mean, my brother got the vaccination.
Censorship at its best.
Yeah, exactly. My brother got it, and he was on the fence. He didn't want to get it, but he's had heart problems. He's 73 years old.
Yeah, the
All of his
coronavirus could
doctors-
kill him.
Yeah, I mean, it could very. easily,
I would never tell somebody like him, don't get the vaccine. I'd say probably, statistically, mathematically, I think your chances are better to get the vaccine and be safe.
Yeah. I mean,
at
he
that
asked
point,
me, and I'm like, hey, I'm not going to tell you to get it or not get it. That it's your decision. He's like, well, all of my doctors, all my heart doctors, everybody have told me to get it, so I'm going to do it. And I'm like,
because he's very high risk. If he got COVID, it will kill him. I get that. I understand that.
He's like,
I worry about our kids getting it and what that long-term effects is. That's an honest question. Why is it so wrong for me to want to know or ask that question?
Exactly.
They don't know. They don't know. Tell me how they know the long-term. Tell me how they know the long-term effects. What it's going to be.
Yeah,
how?
they don't. They don't.
They don't.
And
I'm willing to admit that it won't do any harm to anybody over a long run. I'm willing to believe that's possible, but I don't know.
We're going to have the commercials. If you
I know,
or
everybody says
somebody...
Yeah.
Well, IU recently, and I'm in Indiana, is forcing their employees and their students to have to get the vaccine to work there or go to school there. Well, guess what, IU? Any of these people have really serious adverse reactions that can be proven as linked to the vaccine at any point in time. Guess who's liable?
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah. I mean, my brother
Jeff had to get it to install alarms.
Yeah.
Yeah. My brother brought up the long-term, effects of it. I mentioned that, and he's like, dude, I'm 73. Like, how much long-term do I have?
Risk versus reward in that if I was him, I would get the vaccine. I would, without question, would do it. My parents did. I was glad they did. Because, like I said, they were very high risk. I've been scared of hell that they get COVID. Because I could see it killing my mother. I could see it killing my father. So when they say we're getting the vaccine, I'm like, cool. Then when they try to ask me if I'm getting it, I'm like, nope.
I can see the
Glad
vaccine
you are.
killing me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I had it. Like.
Yeah, I think I did too.
Yeah. I mean.
I don't think I did. I mean, I don't think I've had it. I don't know. I'm trying to avoid having it. I don't want to get it,
A year before
but if it does,
came out, I'm positive
but if
that's what I had.
If I do get it, I feel very confident I'm gonna be all right.
Yeah.
But it could be, but there are long-term side effects from it that people are discovering when they get COVID, and then there's still. I mean, I just talked to an ex-girlfriend of mine. Her mom's been horrible, months and months of recovery from this.
Yeah.
She's like 62. That's not old. And I mean, she's had other medical problems. That's the thing. you know, and it affected her really bad. It almost, her daughter was afraid she was going to lose her mother. It's serious. I don't agree with people that don't think it's all fake. I don't agree with that. I think that's just stupid. There's plenty of people have died to prove you wrong.
I've got way too many family and friends and people I know that have had it.
Yeah, I mean, when I say, you know, that it's fake, I mean the whole idea behind it. Yeah, like day one.
The fear-mongering of it.
Yeah,
Yes.
day one when it came out, you know, when we first started talking about it, I'm like, no, that's man-made.
Yep.
It's not natural, you know?
Yeah, and now they're having a minute. It's going to come out. That will come out. It's inevitable because it's science. Eventually, science will prove that it's not natural. I think it is already there. That's the end of the show. Like I said, I was going to run it early, and now we're already 2 minutes over. Next week's guest will be Deborah Lynn Katz. Like I said, she's author of and psychic. She's author of You Are a Psychic. So talk about self-development of your own psychic abilities. We love that topic. Something I've always been interested in. I'm sure you are, and we'll have the phone lines open that night for you guys to call in, and she will be on for more than 1 hour. We'll try to get L.A. Marzulli on again. I will really try to get him back on again because there's so much I want to talk to. Hopefully we didn't scare him away. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Thank you all my Patreons out there. $2 a month really does help pay the bills. Just got a new Patreon. Who is it? I should call it out. I should call out my patrons, right? I think they were a patron. David Libby or Kim Libby. Thank you again. Re-Patreon. Thank you. Anybody helps, it's $2 a month. It helps pay the bills for the show. And I do have bills for the show. It helps pay about half of it, but that's a big help. So, and also, big thank you to all those who share out the show. Keep telling people about Paranormal Soup. Brendan out there, 13 years old. Tell your friends about Paranormal Soup. We keep it PG-13. Kind of. We do. But open their minds. Think about other new possibilities and the crap they're teaching you in schools. All right, guys. Have a great night. See you next Sunday.